Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, welcome to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. I am Dr. Sid here with two amazing gentlemen from around the globe, bringing you the hottest action in esports. It's Tony Axfire and Sean Snare. What's happening, boys?
Hello. We good. It's the end of the week. I'm a little bit sad because now we have to wait a whole nother week for more FIFA. But other than that, I'm excited to see the last matchup because today is a...
I totally feel you. The FIFA tournament has been heating up. Yesterday, we saw a masterclass. And let's take a quick look at the prize pool, what our players are fighting for. This is the $17,500 prize pool for Season 3. Of course, $15,000 going to the PUBG Mobile tournament and $2,500 staying in the FIFA tournament, which is where we are right now. Let's take a quick look at the standings of the FIFA 21 tournament. Actvi, do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, so we got Bis Bianchi, who has been amazing throughout this tournament, right there on top. You know, he has won 3 straight games. He also got Masum and Unfaizdd. I'm hoping to see Unfaizdd get into the game. Another person who's really impressed me throughout this entire campaign has been Young Savage. Although he did lose the earlier match to Unfaizdd, one of the games to Unfaizdd, which was probably a lot of pressure on him. But he's come back, real tough. And yeah, for me, all the guys such as Deevak, Bobo Beast, Mobizilla, and Mayhem need to sort of now begin to show more. And get back right there on the leaderboard. But for me, it's really lovely to see Young Savage, come way up, even after losing, one game right there.
And this is our matchup for today. Unfaizdd, who showed some real skills in one of our earlier matches, and Divock, who is definitely one of the hot players. These players have an opportunity to bring themselves up the leaderboard and showcase that they are action. As you can hear, the action is revving up already. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Umzansi Esports League brought to you by Northern Gaming in the Season 3. Snare, you heard the action. It's like somebody's already revving up, ready to take us into the next phase. What are we looking out from Unfaizdd and Deevak today?
So given that this is for them, they're the last 2 players that don't have 3 matchups just yet. So a victory here has a lot of ramifications, right? Should Divock find himself losing today's matchup, then he stays where he currently sits, which is in the bottom half of the table at the moment. However, Unfaizdd is trying to get to the number 1 slot. If he wins, he's suddenly drawn up with the Beast at number 1 with 3 wins apiece. And I think for him, for either player, right, nobody wants to walk away without having scored the goals. But I think for Unfaizdd especially, he really wants to try to find form that led him to a Season 1 victory. For Deevak, at this point, I think you probably don't expect to be able to blow out Unfaizdd, but you need to be able to do everything you can to hold on, maybe eke out a 1-2 goal victory. So for either of them, a lot matters, right? It's either number 1 or being in the playoffs at all. That is the stakes for this game, it feels like.
Oh, well, the stakes are definitely high. Everybody trying to make sure that they are in the top 4 when we move into the next phase. Nobody wants to go out early because, as we showed you earlier on, that prize pool is absolutely heavy. Now, Tony, we've seen a lot of action. We've seen Deevak come through. Do you think Deevak has a chance to pull one over on Unfaizdd today?
I mean, I definitely do, usually love an underdog, but the class of Unfaizdd is definitely going to win here for me. I mean, he is absolutely calm when he's under pressure. So for me, it's definitely going to be Unfaizdd.
And you can see the action has started. Sorry, Tony, to cut you short. The action has started, so I need to back up right now and leave our lovely viewers in your guys' capable hands to walk them through the blow by blow. I'll see you after the game, guys.
Thank you very much, good sir. As indeed we are in the game, and Axfire in the situation. We've seen a lot of different teams, a lot of configurations over the last couple of days, but one perpetual constant has been that everyone is favoring these very pacey players, but we see a very different team here emerging from Deevak. Although this might lead him to an early goal here, although he's still being kept at defense for now. Unfaizdd not gonna concede the early goal just yet. Nice block, and oh! Ooh, that was an attempt. Sadly, the attempt.
Yeah, that that was definitely a good attempt right there from Divock, and you can see he's trying as much as possible to draw that first blood. Because if he can, switch things up from phase early on, he might be able to shake things, because you wanna make sure that you rattle on phase quite early to be able to have a chance against him in this game.
See what the chance is going to be. Right now, it is going to be the first attempted run from Unfaizdd. Like you mentioned, his class, we expect it to be enough to carry him forward. And now making the run with Pele here in the box, looking for these dribbles. Can he cut through Deevak? He's still on the ball. Oh my god!
Oh my goodness! What?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness! This is what we were talking about. Damn.
Wow. Okay. So, that just happened. Backfire. That just happened. My goodness. So, if you're right now, you're sitting in Deevak's shoes, right? Aren't you just flabbergasted looking at the screen, asking yourself what went down? But more importantly, how do I stop it from happening next time?
Yeah, exactly. That was super amazing, and this is exactly what we're talking about. In that class right there, how he has the ability to just go in and get those and get those balls in. Jeez, that was
now gonna have to. Oh, actually, I got things wrong. It's Unfaizdd who's playing in the yellow right now, so he's actually the one that's gone goal deficit.
Oh yeah. True. I just actually saw.
So basically, Deevak just basically brought himself into the playoffs, right? If nothing changes, of course, there's still a lot of weeks to go. However, at the end of the day, at the end of week 4, should things stay the same, he's now finally found himself into the top 4. The question is, can he maintain this, right? But we've been speaking about the class of Unfaizdd. Obviously, it's been Deevak, in fact, who's been pressing a lot on the ball.
Yeah.
So if you're Unfaizdd, you know that you're favored in this matchup. What do you do if you're him to try to get this first goal back?
I think you can see. I mean, he was the one pushing earlier on in this particular game, and he tried to get those early goals. I mean, we've seen Unfaizdd go down early on in a couple of matches, but still find a way to get himself into the game because he knows how to. He's not as tricky as guys like Young Savage or Deevak, but he knows how to just soak up the pressure and keep coming at you. He reminds me of the German teams. When you watch like the German teams versus the Spanish teams, they just know how to pass the ball, keep coming at you over and over again, consistently until you break. So I feel like yeah, that may work for Unfaizdd here.
He isn't be able to string together here as he's now back on the ball, gets dispossessed in a very unfavorable area. Bruno Fernandes on the run, looking for a way to get this into the back of the net, passing it on to Blanc. Ronaldo in with Dembele inside the middle of the box. Now shot laced off by Goliath Unfaizdd, but unfortunately it still stays 1-0 up. Divock has to defend against the corner though, but very uncharacteristic there, Tony, because we very rarely see FIFA players just go straight in for the corner kick cross.
Yeah, very rare right there. And there's something that really worries me about Unfaizdd in this particular game, which we normally don't see from him. It does feel like he's beginning to become a bit impatient. You normally see him very calm and with those tricky passes and just getting the ball, making sure he gets into an angle where he definitely gets that goal. But we're not seeing that from him, and he's making like some silly mistakes even at the back right here. So yeah, it worries me. But let's hope he settles down and gets back into his rhythm.
It's looking right now he is definitely a little bit unsettled from what we've seen from him thus far, but needs to regain his composure. And like you mentioned, he's not like he's a stranger to this position, right? Being down early in the game and still recovering a good position. We'll try for this now with another deep run. Ronaldo with the interplay with Dembele. Once again, the shot comes off. Hit another corner kick. And this time around, exactly like what you were speaking about, he stopped, breathed a bit, took a rush. This corner has a player nearby. Even though he's going to go for the cross, he seemed a little bit more considered about that one. It didn't seem as reckless as the previous one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly the gameplay that we've come to know from Unfaizdd. He's that player who can calm things, control the possession, keep coming at you over and over again, like you've seen, and that's definitely what Divock needs to sort of like stop. In this game, he needs to make sure that he doesn't allow Unfaizdd settle in, because once he does that, I mean, you know, he's definitely going to start to understand your gameplay and control you. You know, and he definitely knows, you know, not to give Deevak those spaces anymore. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that he holds up to onto the ball, and yeah, controls the game.
As you're saying that though was a little bit too weighty on the pass, doesn't end up finding possession with Ronaldo. Now he has to deal with a quick counter attack. Both players are using Dembele, so very spacey runner, going to be the primary target man for these deep lying passes from both teams. Thus far, it's been more effective from Divock, and with that one goal being the difference maker, he's going to be very glad he got it early when it seemed that Unfaizdd wasn't as set up defensively as now. Might be open up yet again. These dribbles past them. Dembele! Woo! Messi to Dembele into the back of the net. My God.
Oh my goodness. The pace, the trickery from Dembele, Messi, Pele is just seeming too much right now for Unfaizdd to handle.
Just being able to get the ball, slight touch past the final defender. And like you were mentioning, Unfaizdd not necessarily being as clean as a whistle on his defense. Normally we see him pressuring as soon as he loses possession on the ball, but gave a little bit more time than expected towards Divock, and Divock was never gonna mess up an opportunity like that. 2 goals up now. We saw yesterday that 2 goals is definitely a lead that can be defeated in the second leg, but Divock definitely will be happy with how this is starting out right now.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen Unfaizdd really hold up that possession, but you know, he's not really taking his chances. And if you do remember against the first game between Unfaizdd and Savage, we did talk about how sometimes, you know, you just gotta take your chances. You know, Savage was having a lot of balls being blocked, hitting the bar here and there, while Unfaizdd was just taking his chances. And sometimes it's just down to luck when it comes to, you know, this level. And right now Unfaizdd has had his chances, but he keeps, you know, it's just not been taking them, and that could prove costly for him as this game progresses.
Another chance snuffed out, unfortunately, as how Cancelo, excuse me. I've been playing some Ultimate Team myself, but I have how Felix, great player. You should pick him up. How Cancelo, he's the one that makes the deep ball back into Divock's feet. And this might be yet another opportunity for him to go for a strong attack. Already mounting a lot of forward runs. Back to Pele now, looking for these dribbles. Messi trying to find the space. Can't get on the other side of the pass. So this will be him buying a little bit more time, resetting the ball by holding it up. And Pele, my God, the Brazilian maestro, somehow keeps the ball aerially. He's playing a different sport. And Messi with the dribbles back in the box. Messi with the goal. Oh my goodness. Woo. Fire, you heard it from him. Oh my goodness is all that any of us can say, because that goal, my gosh.
Oh my goodness. I do think this is one of those times in football where you say, you know, football is not mathematics. Just because one person beats the next doesn't mean the next one will beat the next. You understand what I mean? So it's just one of those times where it just seems like, you know, what the tools that Deevak comes with, you know, is just seeming to be too much right for Unfaizdd. His tactics, his setup, his skills, how he plays, it's just, yeah, it just seems to be Unfaizd's kryptonite right now.
Every single facet of his play has been seemingly dissected, and Unfaizdd uncharacteristically has seen very little of the ball comparatively. And even when he does have the ball, these runs haven't felt that threatening. You were talking about how he's been able to get himself in these positions where a chance might come from, but unfortunately unable to make a real chance actually happen. And now it's really biting him, because FIFA, definitely a momentum-based game. When you've lost the momentum to this degree, 3 goals down, I mean, you still have the second leg to potentially reset, but no championship caliber player wants to be thinking that way. You want to be thinking about, how do I score here and now? And Xfire, if you were coaching him, what would you be telling him as we see yet another attack?
The most important thing really is to make sure that he doesn't concede another goal. He tries to at least get 1 goal back going into the next leg. Yeah, that's the most important thing for him right now. You know, just try as much as possible to reduce his deficit as much as possible and get back into the game. But you know, also learn from his mistakes. You know, he needs to be less predictable, and I think that's what's happening between him and Deevak right now. Deevak just seems to be predicting every single, move that he's trying to make. You can see right there, he sort of like sends his player running, and it looked like he was gonna give a true pass, but he brought the ball back. Deevak read that again, so it just felt like it was he needs to be more dynamic about his play, which is usually not a problem for him, but it just seems like he's running out of ideas so far.
Today, not the easiest day in the office for the former champion here in the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. Losing in the opening leg, and it might just be 4 as Pele gets back on the ball. Really been struggling with containing this midfield pressure. Every single time he gets the ball, Divock is immediately pouncing back on it, and now Unfaizdd. What?
Goodness.
Divock!
What?
Oh! Okay.
What?
Okay,
Oh
somebody
my
needs to
goodness.
institute a system where you're allowed to ban your opponents from picking certain players, because this Pele card has just been the master stroke for Deevak here, Tony.
What is going on? I don't even understand what's happening at this particular point in time to Unfaizdd. I've never seen him, play this loose in his defense or be troubled this much. We've seen trickery come from Savage, but he's always had ways to handle, this sort of players. I'm just wondering what Divock is doing, that's a bit different, And you can see that Divock is also finding a way to get all of those bodies right there in defense. So there's always a player on Unfaizdd at every single point in time, watching, covering. And there's very little space to work with, but he's able to get one goal back. At least that's definitely something going into the next leg.
It's something, and more important than just getting a goal on the score sheet, I think it's important for him mentally to be like, okay, I actually can score against this dude. It's possible. My competitor, my opponent is not immortal. Victory not going to be happening here in the first leg, but he can now start thinking about the second one. And I think the big thing about how Divock has figured him out is how he's been dealing with these passing lanes. It really does feel like whenever Unfaizdd gets on the ball, it takes him so much time to figure out an effective way to pass. Even in the goal we just saw, he had to hold up the ball for such a significant portion of his play before he was able to get into the back of the net. We'll see if that strategy can pan out going forward the second leg, as normally Unfaizdd seems very comfortable on these very aggressive runs. He can't make them. Might try for one now though, as Tony, the final play of the game. Will it be a goal for Unfaizdd? Can he at least get 2 back, or is it only going to be the 1 in it for him?
Yeah, he definitely needs to get 1 back right now. But Divock, finding a way to block that particular pass and going forward right here with Dembele. Oof, man, it's been really tough for Unfaizdd. I'm not really sure I have, I have to really watch this game again to understand, or see their formations and see how that's affected, Unfaizdd in this game. But really, it's just seemed really tough for him to handle, both going forward and in defense.
Yeah. As the game now will end, leg number 1, 4-1 in favor of Divock, as he's able to secure the opening victory here in the final match day of week 4 in the Umzansi Esports League. Dominant performance coming in from the Bravado man, who was definitely not as favored as Unfaizdd coming into the matchup. Definitely it was more even than a lot of people might have expected, but he was definitely the underdog. Here he is winning out the matchup and doing so in style, right? Not only being able to score the goals, but controlling the pace of the game very effectively. Whenever Unfaizdd would get the ball, normally we've seen a lot of games that Unfaizdd is very dangerous when he's off possession, but in this situation, he just felt like even when he's on or off possession, there's not really much he could do. Pele in particular, I think how he actually really did the changes for Divock that made the difference. He was able to hold things up very effectively in midfield with Pele and Goretzka. Goretzka keeping the defense, and as soon as the ball touches him, you get it so off the pitch to Pele. And for some reason, I think Divock installed magnets into the man's laces, because the ball would just stick on his feet no matter what, becoming impossible for Unfaizdd to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's one thing, most important that we saw from Divock in this particular game. It does feel like he was a player who came into this game thinking, hey, I'm the underdog in this particular game, so I got nothing to lose. I'm not going to respect my opponent. I'm going to keep charging at him, going at him, and showing him, who's boss right here. And he's doing things that, a lot of people have tried. We've seen Young Savage try those tricks at the end of the day, but nerves probably got in the way. And now Divock has has smelled first blood like he did when he got that early goal, and he just kept charging and charging and charging and doing the same thing with those tricks. And yeah, you can see it's paid off for him. He has 4 goals. 4.
4 goals. Yeah. Quite a lot to come back against if you are unfazed right now. Not that many opportunities remaining in Umzansi Esports League. We're halfway after this match day, so you need the dubs. We get into the second leg here. Unfazed taking on Deevak is going to be one more chance for the former champion. Can he make it happen is the question. Has the ball on kickoff. We don't see any different changes in players. Looks like we have similar formations, so he's still relying on his quality here. His confidence, Backfire, doesn't seem to be affected by that game 1 loss.
Yeah, definitely. You can still see that you know, not a lot of changes have been made on his side. But I'm really hoping that Mbappe can get into the match for him. That Mbappe can begin to make those tricks and, you know, get himself, you know, into those chances. You can see, you know, that, like you said, that confidence is still there for him. But he needs to now turn that possession into goals, you know, and get, make those chances count in that final third.
Have his opportunity as soon as he gets back on the ball. For now, we'll have to deal with the defense. Still having a really difficult time dealing with these dribbles. And I think this is you were mentioning it about how so many players have tried to use these skill tricks against Unfaized, and it doesn't necessarily end up panning out. But Divock, he has figured out the perfect way to do it. And he's on the ball here, looking potentially for an aggressive attack. Doesn't end up panning out, and Divock still won't really feel that pressure. He's like, whatever, I'm still have a 3-goal lead in my favor. I am not the one that needs to be stressing. In fact, provided I keep my defensive shape, there's absolutely no way I lose here. So you mustn't get frustrated. But what a Bamba to Dembele and Deevak. Oh, Deevak coming back. Deevak's waking up a little bit because now he has to deal with only 2-goal lead because Unfazed might just be back into the competition.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see that's exactly what we normally would expect from Unfazed. You know, just making those unpredictable kind of attacks. You know, I mean, and that's what you usually expect from him. You know, not the regular kinds of, you know, moves, and with that back heel right there, just you know, unfacing that defense. If I must say. But yeah, that's lovely to see. Now he just has to make sure he gets at least 1 goal in this half to, you know, give himself a really good chance.
See what he can recover here. Still 2 goals to go before he can call this a draw even. So victory is still a lot of work to do before he can start claiming that, but will be quite happy with himself for opening proceedings here in the second leg. Although now there's a very strong attack coming in from Divock himself. Dembele was able to find a lot of success on this flank against Unfazed in game 1. Doesn't seem to have changed all that much. However, the defense in the box is good enough to make him reconsider that angle of attack. And overall, on the money here from Unfazed, Backfire, he has definitely adapted from game 1.
Yeah, definitely has adapted and taking his chances better in this first half, getting that early goal, but also in defense, you know, trying as much as possible to cover up, you know, those spaces. But that mistake might prove costly for him.
Oh God, now it's back into Mbappe, who tries to dribble past the defenders with the additional touch. He gets past. It's Kylian Mbappe in the box. At 8 yards, man won't miss, and it's now back to 3 goals. You were just mentioning, will that mistake come back to bite him? And it didn't come back to bite him, but it came back to take his whole damn leg.
Yeah,
it's now back to a 5-2.
Exactly, and we're back to square one. That 3-goal gap. I mean, you know, at this level, you don't want to be making those kind of mistakes. You know, just get the ball out as much as possible. But also, we must give, you know, kudos to Deevak. You know, with that high pressing right there, it's really risky because, you know, he could get countered. But you know, he's finding a way to make it work. You know, he's getting his players back in time. He's pressing high up and, you know, forcing those mistakes.
Exactly. Sometimes it's not about just making your own plays, but about forcing your opponent to make mistakes. And now the ball can't get into the back of the net here for Unfaizdd. Blocked twice by the defenders in front of the ball. And exactly like what you mentioned, right? Any other player in a very different situation might have been able to just say, well, the opponent blocked, whatever, let me get back on defense myself. But Deevak takes the risks, forces the opportunity, and puts himself in front even because of it. Now he's still back on the ball in the dying moments of this first half, looking for another attack. And Pele into Pele. Can't get into the back of the net, but it only goes out for a corner kick. So the chance may come again, Backfire.
This is the first time in this entire season that I've seen Unfaizdd really feel like, you know, he doesn't have an answer to a particular opponent's attack. Like, you know, Divock just keeps coming at him with different, you know, dynamic kinds of plays, and it just seems like he can't really understand Divock's attacks right here.
Ooh, what a tackle! In the final third, Ronaldo 100% through on space if he can just find centimeters to run forward. But the last ditch tackle, I have no idea how Divock had the presence of mind to get behind, make that tackle, and not give up a foul while doing it. What a player. And now he's immediately in on the counter attack, looking for another goal. Mbappe in the box, but Mbappe, ball gets dribbled out of possession for a goal kick though.
Man, you know, no matter how great a player you are, how skilled you are in possession, at the end of the day, it comes down to one thing, you know, just taking your chances, those tiny little moments, you know, forcing those errors. And yeah, that's what made the difference. Ooh, lovely dummy right there.
Unfortunately, well, it looked really nice, but he couldn't find a clean angle to get the shot off. Kind of feels like he's utilizing these additional defenders on Divock as makeshift goalkeepers. They're just standing in front of the way. Dembele in possession now, looking for a dribble through. He gets the space, gets the shot, gets the goal!
Oh, but
Dembele!
Oh, nice, lovely. Unfaizdd is not giving up right here. You know, he's not going down without a fight. He wants to keep pushing and pushing. This is looking like a really even matchup right here. Let's see if he can get back in.
So now he's been able to bring this back, right? We only had a 3-5 aggregate score, 2 goals in it. It was 3. He will be feeling the impact and the pressure from that mistake that he made earlier, because if he didn't do that, it'll only be 1 goal that he'd need to claw back at this stage. But no use crying over scored goals. Figure out a way to claw yourself back, and Unfaizdd was able to string together some really good momentum for himself. So Divock will also understand that despite being ahead, he's also under a little bit of pressure to ensure that he can keep up the game state, keep up the tempo, because if you start playing defensively, if you allow yourself to get sucked into the pace of Unfaizdd, he might be able to score those 2 goals in this half, or even 3 to cause a loss. So there's no time to rest on your laurels, and we see him here act fire, looking for an aggressive attack, but it's very difficult for him to get through.
Yeah, very difficult right there. You know, the next substitutes that Divock makes, you know, is really going to be important. And you can see that he did try to make some subs early on, but, you know, tired legs might begin to affect him. You know, with that high pressing, it also comes with a disadvantage, which is a lot of tired legs as the game begins to proceed. So Unfaizdd may use that to his advantage as the game begins to proceed on, but he needs to get that early second goal to get back into this game, and it's beginning to look like he does have a plan. Woo, last minute. So close.
So close. It kind of felt like he didn't really believe that he found that much space when he got the ball at Bruno Fernandes. Like, if he showed the same amount of confidence he showed with the previous goal, then I'm pretty sure we're looking at a 4-3, or 4-5, excuse me, but I think he himself was a bit surprised at how lucky he got. But now Messi, oh my god. Messi goes to the grocery shop, makes sure, not the grocery shop, goes to the hardware store, buys some nails, buys a hammer, nails it into the coffin as he gets a 3rd goal, puts in a lead. Oh my god, it's 6-3 in total now. This is devastating.
No, this is beginning to look like Mission Impossible for Unfaizdd, as Divock is just putting, you know, he's just hitting a nail on the coffin right here, because, you know, it does feel like every single opportunity Divock gets in the final third, he does take his chances. And this is what we've always said, you know, at this particular level, no matter how great a player you are, on your day, you gotta take your chances. You gotta set up those positions where you know the ball ends up at the back of the net, and that is exactly what Deevak has done. I'm really impressed with his gameplay today.
And speaking about Unfaizdd in his history in the Umzansi Esports League, Deevak has his own storied history. By far the most prolific scorer. And for the longest time, everyone knew that this was the clinician. With Masum as the Iceman, this guy in front of goals get these goals. Demonstrating it here today against some of Africa's finest. What can he do here to hold this one out? With 3 goals, you're feeling a lot more comfortable. Unfaizdd is now the one that has everything to play for. No need to play safe. Take all the risks you want, my friend. But at the same time, if even one more goal comes back against them, then I really don't see how he comes out of this. But still, he's on the ball, trying to find a way through. The first goal that he was able to get in this contest did come from a situation like this where he played extremely slowly, picked his passes, and it might be another goal just like that. Ronaldo on possession, but the step over was read properly. The defender in position, and the ball doesn't even touch the goalkeeper.
You know, definitely this is a contest between two players who know. Oh, now wait, hold up.
What?
Oh. Wow, that was really close, but probably tired legs got it right there. So, like I was saying, this is a contest between two players who know that they are both equally as good in attack. And I think what Deevak has done is you know, just limits the amount of damage that Unfaizdd can cause. He knows he would definitely get some goals, you know, scored on his end. He would definitely concede, but he's just trying to make sure that he reduces it while he puts as much goals on the other side. And it's definitely paying off for him as he has a 3-goal lead right here.
Might turn into 4 because here is the man that started it all. Pele on the ball, gets it to Messi, and Messi, the shot does not find itself in the back of the net. Not enough power coming in from Messi. You mentioned tired legs. It might be a factor there. Keeps it only 3-goal in advantage. But man, oh man, Unfaizdd. If he doesn't get this goal, then I really don't see any possibility of him winning out this game or even getting a draw. But he's trying right now, and he gets it.
He definitely gets that one.
Dragging it back. Woo!
You know, regardless of everything, you know, we've seen the class of Unfaizdd in this particular match. You know, he's got his foot under pressure, and you know, it's just so unlucky for him that Deevak just came into this game with, you know, something really magical. You know,
Divock, I think, had definitely something to prove. Seeing all the people, in particular from the earlier echelons of the seasons and from several playoff brackets, all sitting comfortably in the upper portion of the bracket, could not have sat comfortably with him. So here he is, putting out the kind of performance that is going to elevate him in the standings. He just needs to close this one out. With a 3-goal lead, it's all but certain. But he still doesn't want to concede any goals. And this is what you need to be a championship caliber player. That no matter what, no matter how far ahead you are, you never let off the gas. And can he defend this one? No, he cannot, because Unfaizdd still has championship quality. Okay. Do we have a game on our hands, Akfire?
Yeah, we do. We do have a game on our hands. Deevak has to make sure that he does not concede a game. If not, this could be a draw right here.
Game manage. Yeah. That's all you need to do. There's no shame in it.
He does have to manage this game. Remember what we said about tired legs, you know, coming in with that high press. He needs to make sure that he doesn't consider again. And I think that's what he's trying to do here with Pele.
He just needs to make sure he keeps this possession, and he finally gets dispossessed. Okay, this might be it. The final play of the game is coming. Can Unfaizdd do it? 1 minute left of normal time. The referee will probably only add 1 or 2 minutes of stoppage time. So this literally will end the game once the ball goes out of play. What can Unfaizdd do here? He's at the final third. Akfire, he's looking for it. Blanc, not dispossessed just yet. Gets it forward to Bamba. Holding onto the ball. No! Gives the ball up to Kevin De Bruyne. And that's going to be enough for Divock to send it clear, send it wide, and secure himself the victory.
Oh my goodness.
What an end. What an end to that game. Wow, that was something else. That was just something else. I think one of the things about that game, right, is not the fact that it ended in such shocking fashion, as close as it got. It's now we look back on it. What did you talk about, Akfire? Will this mistake come back to bite him?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I cannot
Exactly.
believe the impact
You know.
that that one moment of play actually had on the results of this game at the end.
Yeah, number one, you got to take your chances, right there. You got to avoid those tiny little mistakes in defense. And you can see that did come back to bite him at the end of the day. But still, taking nothing away from Unfaizdd, scoring 5 goals in this match does definitely show his class. But he does have a lot of work to do against skillful players like Divock, in maintaining that solid defense. And I think that's just what affected him. He showed that he can get the goals, but
Yeah.
keeping a solid defense is definitely what he needs to do next time.
He did what he could, wasn't enough ultimately, and Divock now solidifies his place here in the upper portion of the standings. He needed this victory. Unfaizdd, unfortunately, will not be joining Julio the Beast Bianchi at the top of the table, and now things are starting to settle a little bit more nicely. Young Savage, unfortunately, gets pushed out of the top 4, but this top 4 looks now extremely familiar. Divock finding this kind of form that he had in the first couple of seasons that made him look so dangerous. And if he keeps this up, Fire, who do you think can even stop him? From what we saw from the Beast, would even the Beast be able to contain this kind of Divock play?
I think if Divock does, it's still a dangerous game for Divock. You understand? He's the type of attack, which he has against a defense that's unstable, like we have seen today. He will cause devastation. But if he does come against a player who's really trying to keep things solid and can also get the goals at the end, at the other end, then he would have a lot of problems. So yes, he showed really solid gameplay, but he needs to also make sure that he has an answer to a very tight defense also. Yeah.
Absolutely. So now he needs to be figuring out exactly what he needs to do as the competition goes. We are just over halfway here in the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. This has been FIFA 21. We are not done with the day's action, as now we are going to be transitioning over onto PUBG Mobile. You've seen your favorite players, now it's time to watch your favorite teams. Thank you for joining us. This has been Snare and Actfire here for FIFA 21. This is Nodwin Gaming Africa, bringing you the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 brought to you by Nodwing Gaming. It is time for PUBG Mobile. I'm here, Dr. Sid, with Patchy and DK as we are about to bring you all the action in the final 3 games of the group stage, of this round, as I'd like to call it. Hey guys, it is crunch time. It is the final chance for some teams to make it out of the relegation zone and hope for glory. But very quickly, let's take a look at the prize pool for this tournament.
Yeah, let's take a quick little look at that. Let's jump in there. $17,500. You know, good old US dollars. We got PUBG Mobile with a whopping 15K out of that prize pool, and FIFA 21 taking 2.5 out of that. So yeah, there's a lot to work for, but I think the work has mostly been put in. You know, at this point, we're at the end of round 1, stage 1, whatever you want to call it, the group stages. This is the final day, the final 3 matches here. And as Dr. Sid pointed out, is the last chance for anyone to try and scrape it out. But of course, we know when Dr. Sid says some teams, what he really means is Sidizens Gaming. So we know who he's going to be watching. And for us, well, we're watching the leaderboard just to have a look and see what's actually going on here. Of course, it's Gun sitting at the top there, as we know, they've been at the top for quite some time. The real question that I want to ask here, and this is the same question that I asked behind the scenes before we got live with this, is that, you know, are we going to see G3 Tampa try and put some work in here? Because we saw Gun taking a huge backseat yesterday, no problem. Like, they weren't going for it. They know that they've secured their place. It really doesn't matter. For G3 though, maybe they want to go for some of those boasting points. I mean, they're sitting not too low below Gun there. So in second place with a 206, followed closely by Zero Tolerance Skills, who is also in this lobby, along with the likes of 4KT, Immortalz, and so on. So that's the question. Are we going to see them really start to put in the work moving forward? I think Influence Rage is another team we've got in the groups at the moment. They're sitting there in 14th spot with 127. Certainly couldn't help. I mean, it certainly couldn't harm them, should I say, to put the points in and, you know, bump their way up that leaderboard just a little bit. So I guess we'll have a look and see. But for the most part, I mean, they're also safe. It really is the bottom sort of teams at the moment, and most of them sitting down towards the bottom of the leaderboard. So we're going to have a look and see teams like NFxUNIQUE, you know, obviously they're hovering down here on the last page outside of relegation. You know, and for them, it's just a matter of, okay, we need to make sure that we're still safe. We need to make sure that everything's still going okay. And I think that's the case for teams like the Euphoric Gods, for instance, who could potentially be bumped down. I think for the most part, teams are relatively safe. I think we only have a couple in the relegation zone at the moment. So if we head on over to that page, we're sitting with the Young Thundercats, of course, taking up 25. I think for them, it's probably that do or die moment. You know, this is where they get to decide whether they are actually going back, you know, to the drawing board, or if they're going to be able to make it into the next round. Of course, the same going for Not Gaming. They're also sitting there in 26, very, very close. I mean, you know, this is the last day they have to put the points on the board. So, you know, everything matters. The same, of course, for Sidizens, as Dr. Sid keeps alluding to over the last few weeks. So we'll keep an eye on those teams and see if they do actually manage to make it out of relegation zone. We will keep you updated on that, because I'm going to keep my eye on them. And of course, how do you get out of relegation zone? You get the points, and to do that, you've got to be grabbing those chickens. You've got to be grabbing those placements, those kills. It's 15 points for a chicken, 12 for second, 10 for third, and then 8, 6, 4, 2, and 1. In descending order, 8 to 12 obviously getting 1 point, 13 to 16 getting nothing, and then it is 1 kill, 1 point, which is quite a big deal. So you really have to find that balance of kills and placements there to be able to get yourself out. So for the sake of those in the relegation zone at the moment, we will keep our fingers crossed and see if they can grab those points. Of course, moving on to the groups, heading in, we have Group B. And here are your teams for Group B. Of course, it's Influence Rage, it's Zero Tolerance Skills, it's BBC, it's Immortalz, it's G3 Temper, it's Not Gaming, and Rainbow Six Madagascar. If you don't know them by now, then you haven't been paying attention, because you know, we've definitely seen these teams around the block in recent times. Group D, of course, is your next group here. Outsiders Official, Rain from Hell, Sidizens Gaming, Sincerity Esports, Euphoric Gods, Slime 4KT, Young Thundercats, and NFxUNIQUE. So we'll just have a look and see which of these teams will be heading back, which of these teams are getting relegated, and which of these teams, if any, are going to be able to claw their way out of that relegation.
Well, just looking at the table, a lot of these teams are wallowing down at the bottom. So it's really much like the situation I described earlier on, which is, excuse me, crabs in a barrel and everyone climbing on each other's head trying to see who's going to get out. So it's definitely going to be very, very interesting action today. DK, looking at these teams today competing, what are we expecting? What are we most likely to get?
Well, if you want to get historical and look at past statistics from what we saw in the previous time we had the players from Group B and D playing together, we of course had the team there from the Euphoric Gods clutching it out on the first match that we had, bringing in those 8 kills. But of course, Zero Tolerance ended up with 12 kills in the exact same match. Of course, we had Influence Rage bringing in 15 kills in the second game. And as we look at the third one, Euphoric Gods right up there again with another chicken dinner. So expecting, based on what we've seen historically, another strong performance coming in from the players there from the Euphoric Gods, especially also then the players from Zero Tolerance, Influence Rage, as well as Not Gaming, looking to see if maybe, like Patchy was saying, G3 is going to look to bring in those additional points just to scoot themselves up above the team there from Gun. Of course, anything can still happen, and we could maybe see a surprise performance coming in from the teams looking to get themselves out of that relegation zone.
So, yesterday we did see a relatively laid back performance from the likes of Gun, who have already qualified, and regardless of what happens, they make it into the next round. And you did allude to the fact that G3 might want to put on some points on the board. But DK, do you think that some of these teams who have already qualified, like Zero Tolerance Skills, might just, be a little bit lackadaisical about their play today, giving all the guys at the bottom an opportunity to fight for some points?
There is definitely a possibility for that, but of course it all depends on, what kind of mindset the teams are coming in with here today. I mean, the teams sitting at the top of the leaderboard, especially from this group, they have the power to control who goes through to the next group and who doesn't. If they go out looking for those teams they know sitting at the lower end, they can choose, all right, do we let them pass or do we let them stay right where they are? So they actually have quite a bit of power, right? The teams at the low end of the leaderboard, they have to work so much harder here today to bring in those additional points. So definitely it's going to be a super interesting day.
So, as we've said it, let's take a look at the action, see who's gatekeeping and who's busting through the gates to make it into the safe spaces. My name is Dr. Sid, leaving you in the very capable hands of DK and Patchy as they walk you through all the action. I will see you right after match 1.
All right, let's go. Thank you so much, Dr. Sid. It is the first map of today's games and the first of the last games for this round. It is going to be quite interesting to see what happens here on Erangel, our tried and true, our bread and butter here in Umzansi Esports League. And we'll see what happens. BBC, of course, heading down into Malta, a very skew flight path, but actually something we've been seeing relatively commonly, actually. In recent times, this particular flight path. So it's going to be taking them off down there from Lipovka down into the southwest corner of the sea. And we'll see where that zone lands. Obviously, it likes to play games with us. We all know how cruel that zone can be if it chooses to. So we'll have a look and see what is going to be the case here as all the teams are making their way down onto that map. Hopefully, we'll see some action, but I mean, I think it really does go back to what you were saying just now, DK. It's the mindset that the teams go in with that is really going to determine the landscape of how this or how all 3 of these games are actually going to play out today.
Yeah, I mean, like, what would be great is if the teams came in with a strong, with a strong kind of approach to this. Yes, it is the last day, but let's finish it off in style, right? That's what ideally I would be looking for. But of course, hopefully that is kind of a shared mentality for these 2 groups, and really looking to see how the teams are going to bring the action, how they're going to bring that aggression. And I sincerely hope that it is what they would be doing in this. But of course, as you've also mentioned, the teams sitting at the top of the leaderboard, they are currently pretty safe in their positions. But let's see, you know, what kind of mindset they have here for today. Of course, already quite a few shots coming in there in the kill feed, as we can see the players there from Zero Tolerance, just, you know, tapping away there with the Bison, going a little bit ham. But now, I mean, this is essentially where we could see the teams, you know, bringing in that extra little bit of aggression. Nothing too crazy, but of course, just something to try and secure themselves into that. And of course, one of the teams in need of those points is the team here from Not Gaming. So yeah, hopefully we'll see them, you know, stepping it up, bringing in a bit of interesting gameplay. And man, I'm really looking forward to today's games.
Yeah, I think the same can be said for all of us, especially those who are taking a look to see if any of those teams will be getting out of relegation. I think that's really where the question is lying. You know, most of the teams are pretty much A-OK for the most part. If they keep up a consistent performance, they should be fine. It really is about whether the teams towards the relegation are going to be in the hot seat, whether we're going to be finding them getting booted out of the next round, or whether they're going to be making it through. So as I said, I'm going to be keeping my eye on some of those teams. We'll see what they decided to do and how things pan out for them. They've got 3 games to prove that they can get it out of the relegation, the Young Thundercats being one of those teams. Of course, one of them that we'll be keeping our eyes on at the very least. We're going to be looking at Not Gaming as well. They could potentially maybe make something happen in that particular camp. And then, of course, for the sake of Dr. Sid, we'll be having a look at the Citizens and see if they pull anything out of the hat. But just like I said earlier, it is going to have to be quite something special. You know, they're going to have to pull some rabbits out of the hat, or I think as DK mentioned the other week, they're going to be having to pull some hats out of rabbits, really, is what's going to happen if they want to get through out of that. But hey, anything's possible.
Yeah, dude, I mean, hats out of rabbits, it takes a little bit of time. You gotta wait, you know, you gotta wait for the correct moment to you know, to make it happen. It is a fairly tricky, you know, maneuver to pull, but hey, you know, as you said, you know, anything is possible. So let's see how many hats we'll have at the end of this game. You know, potential hats, I don't know. There could be a few. I mean, we've got Young Thunder in here. We've got the players, of course, as we mentioned there. We've got a team from Not Gaming in, you know, in the mix as well. We've got the Citizens in. You know, so many teams. We're looking to see what they'll be doing through these games. But of course, I'm also looking at the middle of the pack. You know, the teams that are not quite on the first page, but, you know, fortunately not on, you know, the danger zone page at all. You know, looking to see what those teams are going to be doing. Will they be bringing that extra bit of gameplay, that extra bit of level of, you know, whatever, mixing it up just a tad. But what's also, you know, what also could be interesting today here is this could be the ideal, you know, platform for teams that have already secured a slot into the next phase to try something, to try a strat, to try a move, to try a whatever before we get into the next stage.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. You know, we were talking a little bit about that. We'll see. Everything's up in the air until something happens on the map. So we'll just have to wait. We'll have to bide our time and see what the teams decide to do. We are currently in our looting phase, the slow phase. We did see a little bit of skirmishing happening, but ultimately nothing too crazy just yet. Well, the team's just making sure that they're getting themselves prepared. And actually just want to allude to something we were talking to a little bit behind the scenes. You know, we were talking about how sometimes, you know, you really want to see, in fact, not sometimes, most of the time, you actually want to see teams going out with a bang. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here. You know, sure, it's the end of the round. Sure, you know, you might think that this is where things slow down, but I really hope it doesn't. I really hope it's the opposite. I hope there's a bit of an uptick. I hope there's like a resurgence here to really finish with the bang. That's what we want to see. And well, Sneak's going to put a little bit of that in. BBC taking a bit of damage straight off the bat. And that's a little bit of a targeted action. There's Sincerity finding BBC off. And I mean, if you drop in Lepovka, obviously you have a little bit of that positioning on BBC, who almost always drop in Milton or power area. So yeah, we'll see if they continue this little fight. But that's what I want to see, man. I want to see a lot of fights happening. I want to see a lot of aggression. I want to see these teams going out with a bang. And even if we don't see these teams getting it out of relegation, teams like Young Thundercats, even if they don't get out, I just want to see them go out with a bang.
Well, you forgot one thing though, Banshee, because we were looking at the match at the map a few times, right? And of course, I don't know if you noticed, but the players from 4KT, they dropped over in towards the Sosnovka military base. So, you know, we're in need of some patchy point distribution.
Yeah, you know, I've been thinking about it a little bit. You know, you're gonna have to put some extra work in here for those patchy points. Yeah, I'll award them half points for dropping in that good old military base. You know, they can get a half point each. So that's obviously 2 points in total there. Yeah, you know, just accumulate a little bit. They're gonna really have to give us a show here. I mean, 4KT, there we go. You can see them there, just starting to rotate off. So some of those points have been accumulated, but I want to see some serious work getting put in here. I want to see some going out with a bang. Like, if you end this, you know, series of matches off, if you end this round off really in an impressive way, like you're gonna get a pretty large amount of those coveted patchy points. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't even go out fighting, like if you just take like 4 cars and ramp them off a hill, you know, and just like go out in a ball of flames, like that's an entry right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I'm also looking at 4KT, right? So, because they've also now made it through over towards the EMAs, right? They're going to be playing in against, you know, quite a few teams that have just qualified in from the PUBG Mobile Pro League. So, you know, definitely going to be looking towards them, looking at how they, you know, kind of handle themselves in this, you know, to see whether or not we can get an estimate of what to expect, you know, in future games. But of course, you know, looking also then to see how they're going to rotate themselves through this current zone, as they are currently coming in from that southwestern side. The zone itself not looking too congested. I mean, we do have that section over towards Rozok School. We have a few teams there in the vicinity. Of course, the players there from Rain from Hell now finding themselves smack dab center zone. But of course, also those rotations still coming in from the western side. Curious to see where the teams are going to choose to move into, because, again, so many options for them to take. So we're looking to see which ones are they going to be going for. Of course, the players here from the Immortalz also now making their way on through, heading on up in towards that zone, trying to find a good potential spot to move into. And currently, the players here from the Immortalz, where are they situated at the moment? I'm trying to see where they are on the leaderboard. I mean, they are in... Oh, there we go. All right, so they're sitting currently in 8th place, so they are on that first page. So, well, are you expecting any movement for them up that leaderboard? You know, maybe potentially pushing up a little bit further in towards 7th place, because we know Aphelion Apex, for instance, is currently sitting, you know, what's that? 10 points? No, that's 14 points ahead of them. And of course, also the players here from Not Gaming. This is the opportunity. They are only sitting 3 points away from that top 24 slot. So a lot of things could definitely happen here for them.
Yeah, for teams like Not Gaming, it is a huge opportunity to make something happen. For the rest of the teams like Immortalz, I hope that we see the you know, the work put in to move up that leaderboard. But it really does go back to that mental and how the team's actually approaching this one. I think the teams sitting in relegation at the moment are definitely going to be wanting to put the work in. The rest of them, though, it's up to them, you know, and I hope that they have the sort of sportsmanship to actually make it happen, you know. Just put the work in, do your best, and, you know, just go out with a bang to the end of the round. Even though you're safe, you know, just go for it, man. Just perform, just do your best, you know. No reason to sit back and, you know, do nothing, you know. It's a game that we're here to enjoy, you know, amongst other things. Sure, we're pushing for the prize. Sure, we're pushing for the win, and, you know, moving up from position number 7 to position number 8, or position number 8 to 7, should I say, isn't really gonna, you know, help or hinder your chances. But, you know, just do it anyway. Just do it for the bragging points. Do it for the proving of oneself and one's skills. You know, that's what we want to see. In any case, we'll have a look. We'll see if any of these teams are going to be able to get themselves out of there for the time being. We have a couple of players here just testing the boundaries, seeing what they can see. I want to see some fights. That's what I'm looking for right now. I mean, we're 11 minutes in, going on 12. Like, I want to see some fights, dude.
Well, of course, I'm curious to see whether or not NFxUNIQUE is going to come in with one of those crazy boat moves again when we get over on towards Sanok. For the time being, they're just hugging the edge of the zone here, waiting to see, of course, where the next phase will be taking us, and also whether or not they are going to be stepping up and bringing, you know, a little bit of aggression. They're currently sitting over in 17th place. So, you know, they're not really in need of any points, but of course, as you said, you know, you still want to see a decent match at least, you know, coming through from the players. And now the team here from Not Gaming creeping closer to the team there, of course, from the Rainbow Six Madagascar. Rainbow Six currently sitting in 19th place. And then, of course, you know, again, any movement on the leaderboard will be appreciated. Not expected, but it will be appreciated. So let's see. I mean, there is a lot of potential here. We're still sitting on 15 teams, 55 players alive. A little bit of a spray coming in there from Stone now over towards Yaga. So let's see, will Yaga master anything as he pushes in from the north? Or maybe we'll see the players here from Rainbow Six finding a few interesting hits along the way.
Yeah, it looks like they've been pushed back just a little, you know, made aware of their position, but they haven't yet realized that they're safe for the time being. They're still a little bit cautious, which is good, especially for a team like Not Gaming who has pretty much everything to lose at this point. They really need to make sure they play carefully and calculated, and then make sure they lose as few points as possible as they move through this one. As you can see on the map there, we've got some teams moving on. Influence Rage going to be putting some shots in towards Zero Tolerance Skills, who are currently sitting quite high on that leaderboard. So yeah, it could be super helpful to knock them out if they try and do that. Some nades going back and forth doing quite a bit of damage there. Hates getting taken out. Goodbye, instantly thirsted here. Sully going to be taking up the complete control of this little valley here, this little dip. Up come the shots, and well, the Immortalz actually putting some shots in of their own. So Influence Rage in a bit of a tough spot, considering right up ahead of them is Zero Tolerance, and Influence bringing in third parties from across the way is going to make things really, really difficult. Now it's up to Sully and Sleepy to, well, they have to sort of push in, otherwise they don't have much of a choice. They either have to get out of there as quickly as possible or push up on in, and I'm not sure that one's going to go very well for them. So rotate is the option that they seem to be going with at the moment. The smokes are getting popped, the vehicles are getting hopped into. Will they make it out alive though? That's the question. Zero Tolerance seems to have been staved off for the time being. But those smokes are only going to last a certain amount of time, and Vortex is looking for those shots, not hitting any of them, but certainly looking for them.
I mean, there's a lot of potential here, as you can see. Of course, Darkness there from the Immortalz creeping a little bit closer towards Sleepy, and so far it seems like the players from Influence Rage has started to disengage from this position, as Sleepy is now the last remaining hopeful in this particular spot. But of course, we don't know whether it is because he's just sleepy or if it was, you know, a strategic play coming in there from them. And I'm looking to see what Darkness is going to bring to this potential engagement here, because Sully and the rest of the, well, Sully rather, just hanging back there. Of course, Influence only sitting on 2 players, so Darkness can really bring a slight bit of a disruption into the mix. So looking to see, of course, how also the rest of the Yasnaya region is going to be going, because there's a lot of potential here for that as the teams are starting to move in. We're still sitting on 15 teams in the mix. I mean, that is all the teams we have in this lobby. Looking to see where the engagements are coming from as we're about to wrap up our 3rd phase, about to move over in towards the 4th phase. And so far, we're seeing quite a bit of engagement, quite a bit of fighting coming in from the side of Sincerity. But of course, now Young Thunder, also one of those teams in need of some points, looking to find a potential opening on to the side there of the players from the Euphoric Gods. Now, historically, we did see the Euphoric Gods performing exceptionally well on the Erangel map. Looking to see whether or not potentially maybe the players there from Young Thunder will be the team to stop them in this one.
Well, we certainly will find out. The teams are looking very, very close to one another at the moment. We've got the teams rolling up. Not Gaming putting the shots in towards the Immortalz. Young Thundercats taking a fight with Influence Rage. Snora putting some serious hits. Darkness getting taken down. You can see on your screen here, Young Thundercats operating in the central most complex of buildings, with Rainbow Six Madagascar just off to the side and Euphoric Gods off to the other side. NFxUNIQUE have decided to rotate away from that particular spot, and Sidizens struggling with that zone, it seems. Definitely not being able to make it out alive, and Freeze taking engagements at 20 HP. Not exactly the best spot that you want to be in, but certainly seems to be what's happening. Euphoric Gods trying to put some shots across in towards the Immortalz, who've just made their rotate up into the top of that hillside. But they seem to be directly in the line of fire, because Sincerity is also putting the shots in, and they are just not being able to survive right now. Their nades coming through. A brilliant nade doing so much damage to Sincerity. Man, this is just a back and forth fight right here. Sincerity seem to have the upper hand, but grenades can even the playing field, and indeed so far they have. In the meantime, Myth putting some shots across with that Mini 14, so the battles and skirmishes are certainly taking place at the moment, and certainly it is all in due time for that to happen. The shots from Immortalz are absolutely hitting their mark, but can they finish off the kills is the question. Very low HPs all across the board for Sincerity. The shots coming back right in Umar's face, but so far he's been winning the fights, and so have Immortalz. In the meantime, everyone else also going crazy in that kill feed. You can see the teams are absolutely picking up on these fights. Oh, Amar getting caught out, getting the bandages on, and what a great bait and switch coming through there. Just kicking him while he's down, taking him out, and so Sincerity live for the time being. G3 getting hammered by BBC. 4KT also taking a couple of fights with the Not Gaming squad. You can see G3 taking control up here of this little hillside. Nahal off onto the one side, the outsiders on the other side, and a lot of teams stacked up towards the perimeter of the zone.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I really appreciate the efforts coming in there between the Immortalz and, of course, Sincerity. Really good engagement we saw. Now, we look to see what the players here from G3 are going to be doing. You've got 6 God, of course, right here alongside the compound. Beautiful nade from Nihal, getting sent on over. Really good defensive play. I mean, that is a really difficult spot to be in. And so far, Nihal just sending out nade after nade, picking up 6 God in the process. Of course, now G3 being reduced down to 2. It is Buden, it is Flacco, and they're looking to find the angle on towards Nihal, but they're also a little bit hesitant. We did see what Nihal can do with those utils. Now, of course, you know, a slight bit of a waiting game coming in as we also now look to see where the next phase will be taking us and how far these teams will need to rotate up. But of course, now this eastern side is getting a little bit congested. Of course, maybe that zone might even things up a little bit, ease the pressure as the teams then have to start disengaging. The outsiders also taking a few hits up on the hill. You said R, I call it R, the pirate guy right over here. Of course, they're from the outsiders. The citizens just up ahead. Priest not looking too great on the health bar, but of course, Dami and 11 is there for that slight bit of additional support. But Nihal is caught in the middle. If he has any more utils, I would be very, very careful, you know, when trying to push up into that position.
Yeah, you can see on the map there, things are looking pretty tight there on the eastern side of that zone, right across the border of that line. The rest of the teams off in towards the west need to make their rotate. Not Gaming looking pretty okay, although if they follow their direct line, they will run head first into Sincerity. That could be an interesting fight there. For the moment, though, we've got the citizens hitting that grass, snaking it out to try and survive. The HP is looking very, very low, and these guys do not seem to have the meds to be able to stop that. So they're in a bit of a predicament here, and it might just be not very long until they get wiped out, considering there are so many teams up ahead of them taking fights. NFxUNIQUE having moved up and taking control of the general area. G3 in the same spot. Not Gaming taking quite a bit of damage there with Sincerity, as I mentioned, running headfirst into them, but coming out on top as they push through to get themselves into that safe zone. Keish putting some shots across towards the young Thundercats, who are trying desperately to put the points on the board to try and get themselves out of relegation. But if anyone has anything to say about that, might not be the time. Rain from Hell getting hit by Keish as well. Lots and lots of bullets going back and forth across the way. G3 putting in a lot of damage themselves, at least, so we know that they are playing this one to its fullest, at least for the time being. We'll see Keish continuing with this long-range shot. This guy's just been finding all of these players across the entire map so far, and he's just picking off another one. Prime in his crosshairs, the next one to potentially fall victim, and indeed he will go down. Shoto also moving up as Keish decides to quickly get a feel for the steering wheel of the car before hopping back out and looking for some kills here. Everyone absolutely going nuts in that kill feed. We've got 7 teams remaining, 21 players as, well, everyone is struggling to find their spots. The rotations having thrown so many of these players off. NF sitting right in the hot seat. They've got lots of teams surrounding them, but that's also lots of opportunities to put the shots in, as Rainbow Six actually rotating up very quickly, going to get hit by none other than Keish, who has just been a nuisance so far in this game.
Definitely looking to see how the players here from Unique will be handling themselves. Of course, Euphoric Gods now the target that they are focusing on. And Keish really stepping it up in this one, bringing the aggression, bringing those shots. But of course, a few more teams remain in the zone. We can see the players there from the Citizens also just huddling up on that eastern side of the map, looking to see, of course, where that phase is going to be going. For the current time, they are safe as the zone moves up once again. No dire need for any crazy rotations to come in from them, but of course, they are going to be looking to play this one as safe as they can to try and secure a decent placement point in this game. But of course, the players there from Not Gaming now also coming under fire. Euphoric Gods just making their way on through over on this far western side of the map. Of course, Zero Tolerance now being the target there of Yaga as he steps up, finds the shots over towards them. Of course, the players here from Not Gaming still sitting on a 4-man team. Snorak getting knocked out in the process. Now they're looking to try and recover a little bit of that health. Spider is right there up ahead of them, just applying that extra bit of pressure. But of course, now FaZe just off in the distance, looking to pick up a few shots over towards Yaga. So definitely 3 teams already pretty much positioned in that zone, looking to see where the remaining 4 teams are going to try and rotate up into this. Of course, being a super difficult terrain for them to fight in. It's so open, so exposed. Who's now coming under fire there as Mutant steps on up, finds the knocks over towards him. FaZe looking to pick up the kill, looking to steal that, but of course Buden manages to get the on that one. And the rest of the players here, of course, from NFxUNIQUE still keeping their eyes just locked on to the team there from the Euphoric Gods. G3 now just looking to play this compound as long as they possibly can, but also Buden looking to find an extra little bit of damage over towards 11, who you can see just behind the ridge line. So definitely quite a trying angle for them to be in. But of course, 14 players still remain. G3 currently sitting on 4 kills, potentially looking to be picking up a few more. 11 just waiting for the absolute last moment, while before pushing up in towards that zone. He knows the blue zone is right here behind him, but also he knows G3 is just lying in wait up ahead. Priest also just on that offside there, looking pretty low on health. Rotation, but of course now the shots coming in here from Gage once again, finding its way over towards Rainbow Six. Madagascar sending them back off into the lobby. 5 now remain, so 2 teams already dropping out. Looking to see who's going to be the next one to go back into the lobby.
Oh man, so much riding on this one. 11 gonna find some hits in towards G3. I mean, this is Citizens sitting in the relegation. They're fighting the team sitting almost right at the top of the leaderboard. It's a huge ask. It's a huge fight, but that's what they need. That's what the Citizens need to survive. Priest on the back end cannot help. 11 going for the shots. He's just full sending, and he knows what's at stake. He knows he has to land the shots, but he cannot do it. He will get taken down. 1 versus 2 is just not where you want to be. That's going to leave Priest all alone with 10 HP. In the meantime, FaZe from NFxUNIQUE just putting the hit in it. NF have really just been the thorn in so many of these teams and players' sides. 5 teams remaining at the moment, as FaZe continuing to be a nuisance here, putting the shots in along with Keish and Terry, who are now pushing up in towards G3 and potentially take them out. Citizens still struggling on the B-head, and I'm not sure if Priest's actually been spotted. Not sure if they know where he is. FaZe going through, looking for it. Might just find Priest potentially. Still very low on HP here, in a very precarious position. But if Priest can continue to snake this out and not get found, maybe he can pick up a couple of placement points for the team. Will be very, very useful to try and get out of relegation for the time being, though. NFxUNIQUE stuck in between a lot of these teams. You can see Not Gaming off in the distance, Zero Tolerance off in the distance, G3 off in the distance. And, well, everyone's got to make the rotate, but can they make it happen is the question. The nades are flying back and forth. Oh, here come the shots. Keish continuing to put them in. Jaeger goes down, and Keish has just been on point with these kills, man. He's just been putting them in all over the place. No one has taken him down just yet, and he's just running the show at this stage. Everyone's trying to get in now. It's a little bit of a spot. We'll see if they can make it in. The rotations do have to happen from a couple of players there. Zero Tolerance needs to come in. Not Gaming needs to come in just a little bit as well. Buden waiting for someone to peek out just across that line. The blue zone's going to be quite a tough one to fight here. No one's willing to give it up just yet. Here come the shots. FaZe finally going down as Macho puts the hits in. Not Gaming not going to go down without a fight. But Keish and Terry still alive. Priest here snaking in the grass hasn't been found out just yet. I mean, he's right on the back line. He's just playing the hide and seek game. He's waiting for the patchy points, putting them into Terry. He has been found out. Now he could do so much damage, but he gets taken down with some very quick reflexes by very quick shots exist now, putting the hits in, just keeping himself alive for the time being. NFxUNIQUE, they're in this one. They've got the numbers. They've got the advantage. 3 teams remaining. Macho for not gaming. G3 still in this one, looking to try and get more of those points for the bragging rights. That's what we were hoping to see. Is NFxUNIQUE going to walk away with the chicken this time, though? Or are they going to get taken from behind? Are they going to get, well, just knocked out of this one? I know who is going to get knocked out of this one. It's not gaming. They're going out third. Now it's just NFxUNIQUE versus G3.
And G3 just holding on to that compound as long as they possibly can. But a good, really good, strong performance we see coming in from NF in this match. Already sitting on 10 kills. G3 currently sitting on 5. But of course, now the players here from NFxUNIQUE just starting to explore the zone a little bit further. Looking to see if they can find those openings. Of course, Uden hiding behind the vehicles. But the Utils are finding their way on energy to see here now. NFxUNIQUE applying the pressure on towards G3. Oh, a little bit of barking, but it doesn't work. But they pick up the kill. NFxUNIQUE steal the chicken dinner away. 12 kills. What a play that was. G3, of course, finishing up in second place there on 5. And the players from Not Gaming really also stepping it up in this match, finishing off, as we can see there, on 10 kills. So really impressed with the performance coming in from the top 3 teams there. But of course, I also got to say, you know, we did see a really good effort coming in across the board. I mean, even we saw Priest, he was so low on health, still made that final run, that final rush right there at the end, looking to pick up a few more points. Unfortunately, his health was just a little bit too low for that to be feasible, but he did try, however. So really, really good effort.
Oh my god. Sorry guys, I was screaming there, so I had to mute myself before I had to stop the casters. But just let you know that that was an amazing play by Sidizens Gaming. I'm super excited. I'm hoping that the positional definitely give them a better positioning. But looking at the players from NFxUNIQUE, they definitely went in to secure their spot in safety. They are not taking any chances with the team coming from below. That was a very, very interesting play. Also nice to see that the guys from G3 Temper didn't let go and play like a dazzle like some of the other teams we saw in safety sports, and they went there to try to secure the space as well. I literally can't wait to see what the table looks like now for today's games. If that's ready, we'll take a look at it in a brief moment. But Patchy, what are we looking at here? Looking at Not Gaming. Not Gaming were putting on show today as well, getting knocked out in third position.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely important for them specifically because they are sitting in, I believe it was position 26 just before we went into this game. So it's going to be really, really important for them to get those points, and we'll see how they continue to perform. You know, putting on a performance like that, it's going to be worth something, you know. And so here's that scoreboard, the standings after this game here. NFxUNIQUE obviously taking that chicken slot, and certainly not by accident. You can see those kills coming in huge for them. Not Gaming in the second position there. We've got G3 Temper coming in third, Zero Tolerance in fourth. We've got Rainbow Six Madagascar in fifth, Euphoric Gods in sixth, Sidizens Gaming in seventh, Sincerity in 8. So some points have definitely been garnered here. Zero Tolerance and G3 performing as per usual. Like you said, good to see that they're not taking a back seat here. You know, you say what you want about teams like G3, but at least they go for the gold, for those bragging rights. And certainly if they do manage to snatch up that first position, they'll be quite happy with that. Of course, moving into the second page, we've got Influence Rage, Africa sitting in 9, Immortalz in 10, Young Thundercats in 11, BBC in 12. We've got Outsiders in 13, Rain from Hell for 14, and then, of course, Slime 4KT in 15th position. So, yeah, I mean, at least Not Gaming have been able to put in, I think it was about 20 points worth, which is certainly, as I said, going to mean something. And if they can continue to do that at least just a little bit, it's going to help them in the long run. And of course, that MVP, it has to be Keish. You know it. NFxUNIQUE doing a huge, but it's Keish who's just been super consistent in that game for getting the kills.
Yeah, and Case was really, really going hard at all the other teams, picking them off as they had that very interesting position inside the circle when everyone was trying to rotate. NFxUNIQUE was just picking people off and Case getting most of those kills. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set for an exciting 2 games. We have 2 games left for the rest of the evening and indeed the rest of the round. Who will be in relegation spot and who will be moving on to the next round? We will find out after this break. My name is Dr. Sid. I'm here with DK and Patchy, and we'll see you very soon. It is heating up. You guys, I wish you had an idea what we've been talking about off camera, but we will give you a is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 brought to you by Nodwing Gaming. It's the PUBG Mobile Tournament. It is the hottest part of the first group stage. Teams fighting for survival to be in a standing to win a part of that whopping $15,000 prize pool. DK, Patchy, you guys have got some amazing stats to break down for us. Now, we're going to take a look at the updated overall leaderboard, but mind you guys, we will not be focusing on the first 2 pages because where the action is happening is on page 3 and 4, with teams fighting to stay up and other teams fighting to knock some people down. Now, let's take a quick look at this leaderboard from page 3 and 4.
Oh yeah, this is spicy. As you mentioned, we're really talking about this behind the scenes, but I think most of the people's eyes are going to be drawn to slot 21, where Not Gaming currently sits with 109 points. After their performance there in that previous game, they have been pushed right out of that relegation zone, and they are, for the time being, safe. And now, as I was discussing with my fellow comrades here, Not Gaming has to get outperformed by every other team below them playing in this group right now to be able to get relegated. So they really, like, the teams below them really have to do some serious stuff if they want to get back out of this and push Not Gaming back down. There is a small, tiny sliver of a chance that Not Gaming could get relegated, but I mean, at this point, that chance is very, very low, right? Because the chances that we're going to see these other teams outperform them, I don't know.
Patchy, I would throw Euphoric Gods in that mix as well, because they're only 1 point above Not Gaming in 110. I would throw them into that mix as well. They look like they could also be done in as well because they're in this lobby. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, as you can see, Outsiders Official is the team sitting in position number 25 with 92 points. Young Thundercats is in the same spot, however, right? And that is literally no points difference, but it is a couple of points below Spaza, right? I think they're sitting about 6 points below Spaza, who is just above them in slot number 24. So Outsiders Official and Young Thundercats have a little bit of a head-to-head battle going here. They want to get out of relegation, but if they perform evenly, nothing's going to happen, right? They're going to push at least one down. They have to outperform Spaza and possibly even Rain from Hell, who might just be putting points on the board for themselves. So this really is a race to the finish right now.
DK, what's your take on all the action so far? Because, I mean, what are you looking at? What numbers are we seeing? What are we not seeing?
I mean, I can tell you it is looking so close, right? So that last page is kind of where we expect to see the biggest changes coming in the remaining 2 matches of today, right? So, you know, we're looking to see what the Outsiders are going to be doing, what Young Thunder is going to be doing, and of course what the Citizens are going to be doing. Because Citizens, out of this group that we are watching today, they are the team sitting the lowest on that overall leaderboard, of course, coming in with 77 points. So they're going to have either 2 really strong games where they finish in the top 3, or 1 game where they clutch the chicken dinner and have a really good, consistent 3rd game, right? So if the Citizens want to make it out of relegation, they have to bring not their A game, not their A plus game, but they have to bring, like, you know, like their S plus game or whatever you want to call it, because it is going to be extremely hard work, right? So, I mean, and they've got to now play almost the perfect game to get out of relegation.
Nothing like excitement, because looking at that table and the people fighting for a spot that could possibly make it into the next round, Citizens Gaming is, of course, at the bottom of the list of potential people that could qualify. You know, and it's up for grabs. Literally everyone, like as we saw, Not Gaming coming through with an amazing game to catapult them out of the relegation zone into possible safety with 1 big game. The next map is Sandhawk. It is close quarters. It is tight. There are going to be kills. Teams are going to be going at each other. I mean, DK, you had looked at some of the past records of these teams on these maps. What did we see the last time we went out to Sandhawk when these teams did it?
Well, last time we were on this map, we did see the teams, of course, bringing a little bit of aggression, bringing a little bit of gameplay alongside with them, and of course, the teams we saw performing really strong on Sanhok was the players there from Influence Rage, Not Gaming, G3, and Immortalz. So they finished up first, second, third, and fourth place in the previous visit. All these teams competed together, and of course Influence Rage finished off with a whacking 15 kill game. That was a 30-pointer for them right there. So definitely, it is a possibility for teams to bring in an exceptional amount of gameplay, bring in an exceptional amount of points. But the question is, will they be able to do it in the remaining 2 games to move in to that safe zone?
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, the action has begun, and I will see you guys after the game. Patchy, DK, bring us the action, boys.
Oh yeah, just thanks for that, Dr. Sid. I mean, for your sake, we're going to be having a look at seeing what are the probabilities of Citizens making it out of this one. What I'm going to say is, I think that for that to happen, they're going to have to grab some top 3 finishes. They're going to have to grab some kills, and they're also going to have to outperform all the other teams above them, which is every other team in the group. So specifically, Young Thundercats, Outsiders, Rain from Hell, and Not Gaming. They have to outperform all of those teams here, or at least a quite large majority of them, to be able to make it up into this. So it is really going to be a tooth and nail fight here. Honestly, I'm not in the bandwagon at the moment. I don't think we've been given enough, enough of that tantalizing, spicy goodness to believe. So I'm not in the believing camp right now. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's certainly going to be an uphill battle, to say the least. Now, it's definitely possible, as Sid mentioned. With a good game like that, like Not Gaming just pulled off, it is entirely possible that you could throw yourself right out of that relegation spot. I was chatting with the guys behind the scenes about the golden moment that some of these teams have been able to do. I think Fear was one of the first that we really noticed getting that done. And now we've just had Not Gaming doing the same. So now we'll have a look and see if they can keep up that work, keep up that pace. Of course, moving into Sanhok means that anything is possible. It is an absolutely crazy map. We've seen some crazy things. We've seen NFxUNIQUE just swimming off into the distance and, doing some very sketchy things. If they do that again, by the way, that's like 1,000 patchy points at least. For that one, we've got some early engagements, though, which is good to see. That's Rogue, actually, from Sincerity, putting some shots in towards Euphoric Gods. So there's a little bit of aggression straight off the bat, which is good to see. We'll see if that continues.
Yeah, and of course, you were talking about that relegation spot. We've been talking about this since coming back from the break, right? So what the teams need to look to do is try and already just beat the players from Ultra 6 and Spaza 6, right? Those are 2 teams sitting, in that spot, because we currently see Spaza 6 right on the edge of relegation. Ultra 6 just up ahead 5 points away from that. So we know that the points for Ultra 6 and Spaza 6 is fixed, right? That was a lot of Xing, but it is it is the facts. So we're looking to see exactly what these teams will be doing. If they can just, try and move up above Ultra 6, Spaza 6, that will already, make things so much more easier for them. The next team up from that, of course, being the players from Fear. So a lot of the teams in the groups here today are the teams sitting in the lower ends of that leaderboard. And of course, Fear is the next team not participating today, but they're sitting on 124 points. So, I mean, it's going to be very tricky for Rainbow Six, Madagascar, BBC, the players from Euphoric Gods, Not Gaming, Rain from Hell, the Outsiders, Young Thunder, as well as the Citizens. All of those teams need to bring a really exceptional game.
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping that's what we see, because right now this is the map to make it happen on. If you want to claw some points, just get back from that relegation. This is definitely the map to start that off on. Now, keeping our eyes on the Citizens here, as you can see, just making their way up, making sure that they're not in any danger as of yet, and they certainly aren't. But there's a couple of teams that have a lot riding on this, as DK mentioned. We need to see that outstanding performance coming out here for these teams to keep themselves out of that spot. And nobody wants to get relegated, but somebody has to, right? And that's just the situation. We're going to see who it is, and that's why we're going to be focusing on the bottom pages of that leaderboard, is because we want to see who it's going to be. Who are these teams have made that leap, who is going to make it just out of that zone. So we'll have a look and see. We've got NFxUNIQUE just right up here with 4KT, just seeing what's going to happen. It's just taking a peek, getting some information, seeing the rotations, and instantly peeking out for some delicious damage in towards Vex. Done and dusted there with an immediate knock, and that's going to pull the trigger for the rest of NFxUNIQUE to put the hits in towards 4KT. Not having a good day, as they were just, trundling around on top of that mountain, suddenly ambushed right in the middle of nowhere with a very difficult situation on their hands. Aimer putting some shots in towards Keish, the man with the plan in the previous game, not going to be able to do very much. The Outsiders putting some hits in towards Zero Tolerance, though, and G3 also engaging with Rain from Hell, so the fights are breaking out straight off the bat.
I mean, we were hoping to see a bit of aggression. Of course, that is exactly what we are finding. And if there is a map on which you can make a big change to that leaderboard, it is, of course, the Sandhawk map, because it lends itself to aggressive play. It's already forcing all the teams so close together, so it only takes a little bit of, motivation to get the ball rolling. As we can see already, the players here from the Outsiders, they've come into this match. They are serious. They want those points, and of course, they're already trying to push up onto the team here from Zero Tolerance, already managing to pick up the first one. Now they look to find the remaining three, that of course being Skydo, Vortex, and Hate. But Zero Tolerance is not a team you can easily walk over. They are going to be putting up that defensive play. They are going to make it exceptionally difficult for the Outsiders to get any of those hits in towards them. So this is really going to challenge the Outsiders. They're going to have to bring, a bit of an outside of the box play to get this working.
Yeah, for sure. Now those shots from Zero Tolerance absolutely flying in there towards the Outsiders as they make their attack over the side of this hill and towards the compound where the Outsiders are holed up. In the meantime, NFxUNIQUE putting some shots in there towards Zero Tolerance. The Immortalz also engaging with Not Gaming, so Not Gaming in the bit of a hot seat there and not coming out on top so far, which is a little bit of a problem for them, because they definitely want to put as much distance between themselves and that relegation zone as possible after their performance there in that previous game. Now, of course, it is 4KT still struggling to survive here, trying to push back the players from NFxUNIQUE, keep themselves alive. Pronto coming in. He's coming in with a little bit of a flank. Might just be able to catch them out. Vex keeping a little bit of that long range going. Try and put in some support fire for the rest of the team as 4KT are now making their way down that mountain on the offensive, ready to try and put it in towards the players there from NFxUNIQUE. Aimer now pushing forward at the cusp of it. Zero Tolerance in the meantime taking a clash with the Outsiders there. Lots of kills in that feed. Aimer coming up around this rock. He's looking for something. It's going to be quite a tough time here for both of these teams, but the Outsiders have to come out on top of this one. 4KT also looking to come out on top of this one, because they've really not been performing as they would need to. Now, of course, they're not exactly in the worst position, so it's going to be okay if 4KT lose this fight, but it certainly won't, be very helpful if they want to move on up. So we'll just wait and see. Orisa getting immediately taken down there. Zero Tolerance doing what they do, picking up some of those spicy kills for themselves. 4KT have yet to pull the trigger here on NFxUNIQUE. They're pushing up, but they're not crossing that line. They're not confident enough to get that push on just yet. NFxUNIQUE just waiting, biding their time, seeing if anyone's going to make a mistake here from 4KT.
I mean, it's really going to be a big waiting game for both these teams. I mean, 4KT pushed up on the rock. They're looking to prove themselves once again. And of course, the players here from NFxUNIQUE, they've got, also a few more points to gain. If they can take out 4KT, that will definitely be a good motivational booster for them. But of course, we're looking to see exactly how they're going to take this engagement. 4KT have the higher ground advantage. NFxUNIQUE, of course, having a nice hard cover to make, those plays from, to make those rotations off of. We've seen both these teams being capable of coming in, bringing a nice bit of aggression, bringing in that tactical play. But of course, we look to see exactly how they will implement that and whether or not they're going to start dancing around of finding those head markers. Of course, now also 4KT has another player coming in from the off angle there. So things could definitely get quite interesting, especially if they use that as a distraction to open the gate for the rest of the team to start pushing up forward. Of course, now we see the players here from Not Gaming just up ahead of Influence Rage, just huddled up behind the bridge there. So definitely a lot of pressure on the side here of Not Gaming. If they want to secure themselves that slot, they need to bring that next level play. They need to bring that strategic maneuvers. And of course, we're looking to see whether or not they'll be able to pull that one off.
Yeah, we will indeed wait and see. Not gaming in the crosshairs of the Influence Rage team here. We'll see if anything comes of it for the time being, though. 13 teams, 48 players here on the board currently looking to move their way up that leaderboard, get some of those final crucial points in here. You know, that relegation looking very, very scary as a reality for a lot of these teams. But as we said, it has to happen. It has to come. It's just a matter of who. At the time, of course, you could see that zone has moved on up in towards the north. There, a lot of the teams going to be sitting quite comfy for the time being. Sidizens down into the south, going to be making their rotate. All the rest of the teams comfy inside that zone. The majority of them down towards the southeast. So a lot of opposition for the Citizens to run into as they start to move their way in. Of course, keep an eye on them. We'll see how they fare in this one, because it is very, very important for us to see if they make it through on this one. Everyone still just trying to get the rotate in and get themselves safely inside the zone, but we know in Sandhawk, things just speed up super, super quick. Once that line is crossed, it just does not come back.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the lobby, we've got a few teams that are, as we've said before, you know, in a safe spot. That, of course, you know, Sincerity being one of those teams. They are, so far, pretty secure in their position on that overall leaderboard, you know. So they can go through this. If they have a bad game, it's okay. It's not going to affect them all that much. But pretty much almost, you know, 2/3 of this lobby, they need to focus on that next bit of gameplay. They need to try and potentially take out the teams that are high up on that leaderboard to secure themselves a few extra additional points. And of course, 4KT is going to be looking to make it exceptionally difficult for any of these teams. You know, Rainbow Six Madagascar being one of the teams. They're currently sitting up in 18th place on 117 points. Also, not 100% safe just yet. So looking to see whether or not they'll be able to get that bounce in on the team from 4KT. But of course, 4KT, as we've seen, they are very capable of handling themselves exceptionally well, as Fex, Aimer, and Pronto now make their way through the bootcamp main building, slowly moving through, looking to clear it up. But of course, you know, this is where things could get pretty tough for Rainbow Six.
They certainly could. We'll have a look and see if Rainbow Six can stand the test for the time being. Prime looking for something. 4KT moving on in, ready to contest this particular position from Rainbow Six. The shots coming through. Kidden finds the first. Does go down immediately afterwards, though. Pronto leaping around the corner, trying to find something. Shota puts the next shots in. 4KT's looking for that retaliation. See if they can make it happen. Rainbow Six with the solid defense so far. Are they going to be able to keep it up, though? The thirst does come through for Prime, so Andrew gets taken off the board, and now 4KT have a bit of a tough situation on their hands. They might just have to consider getting out of there, although Stone doesn't seem to be allowing that. Coming in from the backside is going to make this very, very difficult for 4KT as they come on in. Down Pronto goes Stone. The next one to fall as 4KT back. They're trying to keep themselves alive in this one. Fex, everything's on him. The shots are coming through, but is he going to be able to survive? The answer is no. 4KT will be taken out.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good play coming in there by the players from Rainbow Six. Really, really good play. Nice show of aggression. Of course, being able to hold their own alongside the players there from 4KT. So really well-deserved play. But now, the next uncomfortable spot we see is, of course, the players here from Young Thunder going toe-to-toe with a team from G3. I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. You know, just speaking on what we've seen come in from G3 in past, it's going to be a pretty tough one for the players here from Young Thunder to make a good play. But of course, you know, hoping that it is exactly what they do and that they find those angles, find those shots in towards the side of G3. Again, that would be a really good, you know, motivational boost for them. Really make the morale for the team of Young Thunder. You know, just give it a one big whopper of a boost there. And, well, we're hoping to see them just pull that one off.
Yeah. Certainly would be. We'll see if they can make it happen. For the meantime, G3 putting a couple of shots in across to the other teams in the surrounding area. The Young Thundercats maybe thinking a little bit better of it as Influence does feel the brunt of some of that pain that G3 can definitely dish out. We'll see. 12 teams remaining. 43 players left alive here. 6 Flecko. The rest of G3 looking for a couple of engagements here, maybe with Sincerity on top of this hill. See if they can put it in. Sincerity, gotta make sure they don't get taken out here. These long-range fights can definitely go very, very badly if you tempt the fates with the likes of G3, who we've seen, like you said, perform some pretty interesting things over this entire round over the last few weeks. Buden is very much separated from the rest of G3 though, so if he gets isolated, it might be a little bit of a difficult situation for him. The rest of G3 up on the top of the opposing mountainside there, but maybe if he's not discovered, if he's not rooted out, could potentially prove a little bit of a problem. Lots of damage being done in towards Sincerity. You can see those HP bars not looking all that great. In the meantime, BBC going to take the engagement with the young Thundercats, who are also desperately looking for those points. They need to survive this one, because otherwise things are going to be really, really tough. And, you know, maybe that relegation zone's going to just nip at your feet and drag you down into the depths.
Yeah, the depths are quite deep, hence why the word is there, you know, explaining to you exactly what it is. But now Young Thunder coming under a little bit of pressure as the shots are finding their way on through. You can see so many teams in the vicinity, so it's going to be a particularly difficult one for them to make a play on. But of course, if they can hold on to the higher ground and stick it to the side there of BBC, we could see them just improving their overall standings. BBC for luck, of course, now looking to push up slight but aggressively. We've got Lord there just hanging back, providing that extra bit of support. Of course, now they already have put a few knocks into the side here of Young Thunder. As you can see, Illusions to be raised on up. But now, this is where things get interesting as Falak starts, you know, venturing a little bit closer and closer, just knocking on the door, not kicking it down just yet, but just waiting on the outside, looking to see what is going to happen. Of course, the players here from Young Thunder now trying to make that strategic play, looking to find the angles. They are coming in with a bit of a 2-2 split there. It is a good angle to be taking. You can gather quite a bit of information, but of course they need to be careful, as we see there are so many teams in the vicinity. One false move could be quite costly for them. And of course they are looking to bring in any additional points they can find. But of course now Lord just fishing for a little bit of damage there. Curious to see though where Law and Nihal is, because we've seen some pretty interesting plays come from them as well. So I'm assuming they are coming in with a bit of a 2-2 split here of their very own. So definitely looking to see, of course, we saw Lord just off in the distance. So quite a bit of a spread between the BBC players here. I'm looking to see if anyone's going to try and potentially maybe capitalize on that.
Yeah, maybe looking to do a little bit of a split, a double team here coming out from them. We'll see if they can make it work. It's could potentially make something happen. They've got to be really careful about how they do it. In the meantime, Sincerity just pulling a little bit back. They've got their backs to the wall here at the moment as G3 really hammering home on a lot of those shots, not gaming, feeling the exact same way. That blue zone is going to become quite a bit of a problem with 4 zones deep already, 26 seconds remaining, as that blue zone is threatening to wipe out quite a number of players if they don't get their butts moving. We'll see if they can make it happen. Not gaming, lots of pressure on them to get that rotation up, but G3, they're doing what they do. They've got the high ground, and when G3 have the high ground, well, you're in for a little bit of a difficult time here. Young Thundercats also now making their rotate up into some high ground to see if they can get a better position. 6 God actually was knocked, so not going to be putting on the pressure like he wanted to, but of course, with the teams now rotating on in with that blue zone behind them, there's still going to be ample opportunity to make it happen. Shroom gets taken down as the shots come on through. Young Thundercats now pushing up to the top, seeing what they can see up there. The Euphoric Gods, the only resistance to them at the moment, and certainly if Young Thundercats can pick up these points, it's going to be absolutely huge for them. Zero tolerance skills takes a little bit of damage in the meantime as well. That blue zone now becoming a huge problem for some of these teams. The rotations have to come through, and they certainly are. Influence Rage putting them in towards Buden, actually. He's going to go down. So they are picking up some kills, and G3, you know, suffering a little bit of casualties here and there.
Yeah, and of course that is what we kind of want to see. We want to be seeing the lobby just getting, you know, eased up a little bit, taking out that threat there from G3 as the shots come on through. Now, it makes it easier for the teams looking to bring in those additional points as, of course, Influence Rage. Now, just firing off a few hits, but Flacco retaliating quickly. Influence Sleepy now finding those shots. Of course, now the players here from G3 being reduced down to 2. As you can see, Buden and Shroom both, of course, already getting taken out. Sunny now picking up a few more hits. Superior picking up Sunny in the process. Influence Rage, of course, right here on the edge. We could maybe see them take this engagement with G3. Of course, the players there from Not Gaming just down in the drink, having a bit of a swim, just cooling down, as we saw, you know, in the previous time we were on Sanok. The players just taking a nice bit of a relaxing stroll. But of course, now they need to surface as well. As you can see, Snora and Zeus actually starting to take a little bit of damage. They were staying under a little while too long. Influence Rage, of course, right there on the edge, hoping to see any players trying to surface up. As LK is looking for the hits, looking for the angles, but Zeus and Snora now quickly surfacing to grab their breath, essentially looking to be regaining a little bit of health, but of course G3 now coming to a little bit of a save there for the side of Not Gaming. It's putting a little bit of pressure on to the team here from Influence Rage, but of course now LK quickly manages to heal up. We've got Sleepy and Mercury all still up here for the team. To see whether or not they'll be able to find any of those angles as the zone, of course, continues a little bit further down in towards the south. Now, things are going to get pretty hot and heated from this point forward. I mean, this is the 5th phase. We are 20 seconds. We are with 20 seconds left on the clock. The blue zone is going to start closing. And so whoever is not within the zone, when that blue zone starts moving in, it is going to be exceptionally difficult. But of course, well, this is now that opportunity for the teams to get a little bit aggressive, get a little bit tactical, and find those extra points.
Yeah, certainly could be. And of course, with Influence Rage chased off, that means Not Gaming has a chance to get themselves out of that water and maybe stand a little bit more of a chance. They do have to get the rotate on, though. And of course, G3 right up against them is going to make that a little bit difficult. The nades going through. Are they going to get taken out by them so far? No. Nades not landing. G3 actually going to jump in themselves. 6 with a little bit of a cheeky play here. Might just be wanting to catch them off guard. And I'm not sure if Not Gaming are even prepared for this. Are they going to be able to snuff this out just before it becomes a bit of a problem? We're about to find out. Of course, Sincerity now putting the shots in as everything closes up around them. Young Thundercats trying to push in, Citizens trying to push in, but they are getting absolutely hammered. G3, they do get found out. Indeed, Not Gaming, the awareness just there enough for them to take them out before they have to take a run from the blue zone. But with the blue zone doing so much damage, are they going to be able to survive is the question. Respect taking so much damage there, has to pop those meds immediately. Any nades sent in those directions is going to be pretty much lethal at this point. That blue zone is looking super, super deadly. Shots coming through from Pablo. BBC taking some hits. Citizens not being able to survive at the moment. 10 teams left. The shots coming through from Muffin, keeping the team hopes and dreams alive. Lots of damage done, but this is just an absolute scatter to try and get into safety, to try and stay alive here as the zone moves off to the side, shifting in towards the northwest here. Half cover, half not, and you can see those shots are absolutely flying between these teams that are sandwiched like sardines here in a can.
I mean, things are looking pretty tough. It's been quite a while since we've seen a zone rather, finishing up on it towards bootcamp. So quite a few angles for the teams now to try and cover, as we see quite a big majority of the teams already positioned within that edge of the blue zone. But now the players are looking to push a little bit forward. The Citizens, of course, just on the opposite end of the zone there. As you can see, Jeff now from the Immortalz getting ahead as this. Resist the opportunity there, just tapping away at the shots, looking to pick up that knock. And of course, with the blue zone that close, could be a very easy kill pickup right there. But of course, now the players here from Influence Rage also looking to make a little bit of a play up in the north, looking to see if they can find those angles as the players from Rainbow Six Madagascar now need to start moving on in. They need to find those shots, those angles, and it is a difficult one, especially with that little bit of a trench up ahead of them. We've got the players from Zero Tolerance just hiding on the edge. We've got the team there from NFxUNIQUE also lying in wait. Not Gaming managing to sneak themselves up just onto the edge of that zone, as you can see over on the left-hand side there. But of course, now this is where things are going to be pretty hot and spicy. In such close proximity. Mercury now, of course, just taking the opportunity to look out onto the edge of that zone, picking up a few easy kills in the process. Nuclear Fallout now looking to continue the momentum they brought in from the previous match. Of course, Stowe now taking a bit of damage. Assist steps on up, finds the head. Prime and of course Shoto just up ahead there, just patiently waiting for their very own opportunity to get back up in towards zone. Zero Tolerance and of course NFxUNIQUE just patiently waiting. Immortalz are the team there from Influence Rage rather, now starting to move a little bit closer to the shots now again. Coming in to the team here from Zero Tolerance as Shoto now steps up, taps away, finds one knock in the process, but of course Blue Zone has caught up. This is the 7th phase Blue Zone. This is a brutal Blue Zone. You cannot afford to get caught up in the blue. You need to push up in towards zone, and this is exactly what we see now. The teams all starting to scurry like ants as they try to squeeze themselves into the zone, but at the same time looking to pick up a few hits along the way. Prime strafing up into a very, very easy kill. FaZe also now looking to find a few more confirms as they too start pushing a little bit further up in towards the last bit of this map. Of course, Snorra now gets picked up in the process, and it is the Immortalz that swoop in, steal the chicken dinner away. And of course, what a beautiful opportunistic play that was. The Immortalz finishing off their map there, as we can see, with 7 kills. The players from NFxUNIQUE finishing off pretty strongly as well on 9 kills. And then the team from Not Gaming coming into 3rd place with 3 kills. So a really strong performance we had across the board. The team's really stepping it up in this one. Some good positional plays. We had a good few kills coming in as well. But of course now the question comes in is, was this enough for some of the teams to change the standings?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question to ask, I think, for sure. You know, we're looking at potentially and maybe enough for Not Gaming. For the rest, though, I'm not 100%. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see once that scoreboard comes out. For one thing, though, the kill distribution, absolutely insane for the teams in this match.
This is where they say you need to try and change your destiny, but it's in your hands. It's all in your hands. I have nothing to say. I just want to see the leaderboard for this match, and then when we'll get the updated leaderboard for the pages 3 and 4 to see who moved where, because that match, I'm not even sure. The teams who needed to come hard didn't do as much. Not Gaming went in there to secure a good position. I mean, look at that, man. Come on now. Euphoric Gods, G3 Temper, Influence Rage, Not Game Tolerance, Rainbow Six Madagascar, putting in the work, NFxUNIQUE, and Immortalz. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is looking like some teams have decided and made up their mind that they're not going down for relegation.
Yeah, it certainly does seem that way. We're having a look and seeing now the second page where the teams seem to trail off a little bit in terms of the point score. Of course, WalkAT not finding what they're looking for. Rain from Hell also not finding any points. Outsiders and Citizens only finding 1 each for a kill and a placement. And then, of course, Young Thundercats, they're only taking 2, BBC with 3, and Sincerity with 4. So not quite the scores they're looking for. And for the Young Thundercats and, of course, the Citizens, it's going to be the most damaging for them, as they were indeed looking to try and get out of that relegation. So now at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to, very briefly take a look at that score. But of course, it is the MVP. It's Shoto. It's Rainbow Six Madagascar. 4 kills to his name, taking the MVP out of that absolutely crazy, insane game that really just petered out into absolute chaos there towards the end. But here it is. Here's that leaderboard that we were looking for. And of course, it is the Natural Killers at the top. We've got Fear in 18, Not Gaming in 19th spot. So they are still in the safe zone. BBC in 20, Euphoric Gods 21. So they are also safe for the time being. Rain from Hell and Ultra 6 and Spaza 6, of course, 22, 23, 24. They are all in the safe zone for now. Of course, moving on into that relegation zone, we find the Young Thundercats still at the top of that. Outsiders in 26. We've got Citizens in 27, Nibble 28, Toxic 29, Blank Legion in 30, of course. And those spots at the bottom, they are basically sealed. The top 3 of this last page here is pretty much the only one that could potentially come into question. And at this point, I don't know. I feel like 1 game is a lot. It's a huge ask for a lot of those teams. I mean, literally to get out, what they have to do is get a huge chicken and some huge kills. That's the only way that they can change their fate.
You need at least 20 points, or in the case of Citizens Gaming, at least 30 points, and praying that the teams above you have dismal games to be able to make it into the next round. And this is the excitement that is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. We'll be right back with some more action as we analyze the points and the possibilities. We will be giving you some numbers after this break to see who can do what and what it's going to take for them to get it. It's the final round. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the final round. This is it. This is the last opportunity for anyone to make it into the next round. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. My name is Dr. Sid. We are here, courtesy Nodwin Gaming, bringing you the hottest PUBG mobile action on the continent and indeed the world. I'm not here alone. I'm here with two amazing gentlemen, DK and Patchy. Guys, what is going on? Let us look at this leaderboard with people just moving and some people staying put.
Yeah, the movers and shakers are out here and they are moving up and down that leaderboard. Let's just go from top to bottom. Just for a refresher here, you can see Natural Killers and Fear in 17 and 18. Not Gaming, who have propelled themselves out of that relegation zone, are pretty much there and safe for the time being. I think it's going to be difficult to shake them out. I think their fate is basically sealed. They are not going to be relegated. But as we move down, BBC, Euphoric Gods, Ultra 6, Rain from Hell, Spaza 6, down in 24. And, these positions are still maybe a little bit up in the air with the fate of, for instance, Rain from Hell and Spaza 6. Maybe in the balance. Moving on to the next page, this is the potential shakers. Young Thundercats, Outsiders, Citizens, they're the ones who are trying to get out of here. But I think it's feasible to say that Young Thundercats and Outsiders are the only ones who could potentially really make it happen for sure. Of course, right above them, it's only 4 points separating Young Thundercats and Spaza 6, which means 5 points separating Outsiders and Spaza 6. So, a good game here could really, really make them, their whole fate just completely changed, completely switched around, 180 on its head, and that all comes down to their performance. And of course, we have one map for that to happen, one map for them to prove that they are worthy of making it out into the next round. That is all that it's going to be. It's going to be Miramar. It is do or die for these teams to try and make it out. And we'll see if they can perform.
Very quickly, I would like to just flash a quick reminder of what the players are fighting for. So just in case some of them have lost their sense of urgency, it is 15,000 US dollars. This is no joke money. It is whopping out of a $17,500 prize pool. PUBG Mobile winners will share a pot of $15,000. This is no joke. So if your team and you're there and at the bottom and you need some motivation, this is going out to you. This is the last chance. Like I said, it's the final round of the first round, and we will be seeing which teams have the medal, have the mental fortitude, the luck to make it into the next round. DK, looking at the leaderboard from where I'm sitting right now, only the teams there are 3 spots that are potentially up for grabs. I would say Euphoric Gods are technically safe, so I would say probably Ultra 6 and Rain from Hell and Spaza 6. Those are the spots that are up for grabs. Like you guys actually mentioned, Young Thundercats and Outsiders Official are the teams most likely in the best position to grab an upset and make it in there, unless, as DK said, the Citizens Gaming can pull out a herd of rabbits out of a hat or numerous hats to get the points needed. But I am really excited about this next game, not just for personal reasons, but just because the excitement is fever pitch. I can feel it in the air. The tension is high. Palms are sweating. I've just found out that these players wear socks on their fingers or something to make sure that they don't sweat on this. It is intense, ladies and gentlemen. We can't wait. The map is loaded. It is Miramar. It is long range. It is wide open spaces. It is action unparalleled in the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. It's the final round of the first group phase, and I'm leaving you in the very capable hands of Patchy and DK as they will talk you through all the tense action, monitoring the teams that need to make it. This is going to be super exciting.
Yes, it certainly is. Thank you so much, Dr. Sid, as we head into our final map, our final match of today, and also our final match of round number 1, the group stages here, Group B versus Group D. It is the final time that the teams down in that relegation zone could potentially prove themselves and get out of there. But it's going to require some serious gameplay, and that is going to happen right here if it's going to happen. So we're going to have a look and see if they're going to make it happen. Is it going to be the young Thundercats moving out of the relegation zone? Is it going to be the Outsiders moving out of the relegation zone, or will their fate be just like the rest? We're going to have a look and see as the teams are dropping down onto the map, getting ready for the final showdown. And, well, this is going to be it. We've seen some crazy stuff. And, I mean, G3, you know, they've been on the board. They've been around. And this is the map that we've seen them do it on. But, you know, I'm not sure if we're going to see that same step up. You know, we have seen them do a little bit of work, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a full send from them. So maybe there's a little bit of extra room to play for some of these teams that need the points.
It's going to be a tough one, but I mean, if we look historically, right? The last time we were on Erangel, Young Thunder finished up in second place, 18 points to their name. Citizens finished up in fourth with 12 points to their name, right? And then, of course, the players from Outsiders finished off with... they finished in 12th place with 2 points. So it's definitely doable for the Outsiders. It's definitely doable for Young Thunder. It is doable for the Citizens, right? But the Citizens are 20 points short. They need to bring in a banger of a game. They need to play the most calculated game they have played in their life to make it out of that relegation zone. All right, so it is not an impossible task for them. They just need to find 20 points. So whatever they need to do, however they need to do it, they need to get down to business. They need to get serious in this match if they want to do that. But of course, the same goes for Young Thunder and the Outsiders. As we saw, Young Thunder only 4 points away from, you know, breaking out of relegation. Maybe 5 points to be safe. The Outsiders also sitting about, they're 5 points below the players from the Spaza 6. So 6 points would move them up into a good potential spot. But of course, Rain from Hell is also in this match. So, you know, looking to see what Rain from Hell will be able to do. I mean, I almost called them Rainbow Hell. But yes, here we are. Rain from Hell is the right way to say it. Thanks, DK, for that one. But of course, yeah, we're going to be looking to see what the teams are going to be doing. So there's definitely an opportunity there. And of course, we're going to already see 11 starting things off fairly aggressively, picking up that first knock and kill right there. So good start for the Citizens. But of course, 1 point down, 19 more to go. So we're going to be sitting here keeping track of the points as we progress forward. As mentioned, of course, the players from Young Thunder, they need, let's call it 5 points to secure themselves a decent spot over on that, you know, overall leaderboard. But of course, they are still competing with the players from Rain from Hell. So, you know, it's going to be tough. If Rain from Hell doesn't watch their backs, they could also potentially be moved down in towards relegation. So there's a lot of potential craziness going on here. And I mean, this is suspense. This is suspense. This is like a thriller almost.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is, I guess you could say, a little bit thrilling in terms of what are we going to see coming out of these teams. I know what I would do. I would get myself like slap bang in the middle of the zone, and I would just sit there and try and hope that, you know, I could stay alive for as long as possible. Maybe try and outlive a couple of these other teams. But we know how that goes. We know it's a little bit chaotic. We know that ends in absolute chaos and devastation and destruction. So perhaps not the greatest strategy. Although the other option, maybe go and pick a fight with G3 on top of a mountain and see how it goes. You know, that's maybe another potential possibility that could get you into, you know, some points. I mean, at this stage, it's risk it for the biscuit, right? If you have the huge mountain of relegation sitting in front of you, and you got to get over that, you know, why not just risk it? You know, ultimately it's go for it. It's all or nothing. You know, if you're not going to make it, then you may as well not make it. So rather just go out and style, rather get to, you know, risk it all and try and get it all, get yourself out of that relegation. That's what we want to see. You know, we came into this one saying, you know, I want to see these teams going out with an absolute bang. And that's what I want to see. I want to see if these teams have that, you know, have that energy inside of them to go out with a bang here.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to pick up points against a strong team is to try and third-party them. Wait till they get into engagement, and when, you know, when the health bars aren't looking too great, that would be the moment to swoop in and pick up the kills, right? in a perfect world, that would work. I mean, is that feasible? Probably. Is that likely? I don't think so. It's going to be exceptionally tough. Of course, looking just at how, teams like Sincerity, like G3, how Influence Rage, all these teams have been performing so far, it is going to be pretty difficult to get the jump on those teams. But of course, it is not impossible. It's just going to be quite a bit of hard work. So definitely looking to see, how our the three teams in danger zone, Young Thunder, the Outsiders, and of course, the players there from Citizens are going to be handling themselves. So far, Citizens already sitting on that 1 point, as we've mentioned before. 4KT just up ahead. So there is still quite a bit of potential here for the teams to really clutch it out, bring that last bit of show to move into the next round. But of course, once we get there, everything resets and they start all over again. But of course, a lot of hard work has to go in to get just into the next phase.
Yeah, certainly is. And the Citizens, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, it's going to have to be some. In fact, let's expand on that a little bit. It's a hat out of a rabbit, and then out of that hat needs to come a whole burrow of rabbits that have their own hats as well. That's really going to happen for them if they want to make it work. Young Thundercats chilling out here. They've got some points to put on the board. We'll see if they can pick them out, see if they can pick those up. You can see right here on the map, we've got a serious concentration of teams up towards that west side, as well as towards the center of the map. There we've got G3 up and among the action there with NFxUNIQUE, and of course the Outsiders there. We've also got a little bit of teams down in towards the southeast there. The Immortalz, Euphoric Gods, Rain from Hell, as well as Sincerity. So some potential for some action. Hopefully we see that start to break out pretty soon, as that zone has started to close on in. As it does, the long ranges have certainly started to come out. But I'm waiting to see some knocks. I'm waiting to see some points. I'm waiting to see some absolute explosions of fights happening all over the place, because we all want to know, do they have what it takes to put the points? Do they have what it takes to get out of relegation? Who, if anyone, is going to have what it takes? Is it going to be Citizens? Is it going to be Young Thundercats? Is it going to be the team coming out from the outsides? We'll see. Some long-range shots coming out from 11, trying to pick up a couple of those points. And really, just like DK said, somehow it's got to happen. Doesn't matter how it is, it just has to happen. For the dream to stay alive, it's got to happen. They've got to get those points from somewhere.
Yeah, they got to turn those rabbit hats into Russian dolls, just keep on going with them. It's going to be tough, not going to lie. Of course, now we already see the players here from Zero Tolerance making a bit of a maneuver, rolling on in. Hates now getting a little bit confident there, a little bit cocky, pushing up, but of course, meets his match as the players there from Not Gaming stop him in his tracks, picking up that knock. Not picking up the kill just yet, but of course, you still see the rest of the players here from Zero Tolerance in the vicinity, as Hates now is down alongside his teammate there, Evasion. So quite a few shots already finding their way in towards Zero Tolerance. But of course now Vortex and Skydo, we're going to be looking to them to see what they are going to be playing with in this round. Wow, difficult words. Of course, the players here from Not Gaming now moving up, looking to get up ahead, looking to find those last few shots in towards Skydo. Oh, Skydo looking a little bit too confident there. And of course, Macho steps up and puts Macho shots in towards Skydo, of course, getting that knock in the process. So a really good, aggressive play coming in from Not Gaming.
Yeah, and that's what we like to see, getting some extra points, putting the distance in, making sure that they never have to see the horror of that relegation zone ever again. Zero Tolerance Vortex going to be getting some quick flips in there, getting some airtime done and dusted there, as the car decides to get stuck in some quicksand, and before finding its feet once again, Vortex going to be a little bit sus of the car for the time being. There it is, 4KT Aimer going to be looking for a couple of shots in towards the Citizens. They're not going to find them just yet, as Potato going to be heading back to the rest of the team to hole up and try and stay alive. They desperately need those points. Can they make it happen is the question that is on the top of everyone's mind. Is going to be safe for the time being, though, as they are holed up right on the edge of that zone. And I think this is about the safest that they're going to be for the next couple of minutes. It's going to be battles moving forward. So they've got to just relish the time that they have sitting here all by their lonesomes in this compound.
Yeah, they're just playing that edge now, and we're looking to see a bit of a starch performance coming in there from Potato. So a lot of potential action still to come, but of course now we look at the Citizens. You're waiting to see whether or not they will be able to hold this defensive position on the edge of zone. It could also be quite an offensive position, of course, depending on where the teams are rotating in from. So definitely hope for their side, for their sake, that they'll have a few teams trying to cross the path. Because, of course, as we can see, that laser focus action coming in over to the side there of 4KT as now they start to roll on up. Oh, this could be the one where we see a few more points coming in, but it's just ducking in behind the buildings off in the distance. So Potato now lying in wait with his Bolty there, waiting with the Car 98 for a few angles to open up. Of course, the players here from NFxUNIQUE also just positioned a little bit further up above the players from BBC. So again, that potential is starting to line on up. G3 just up ahead of the Outsiders. So this is where we're looking to see whether or not the Outsiders themselves will be able to step up, find those heads, find those shots over in it towards potentially the side from G3.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. It would be a huge victory for the Outsiders if they could pick some of these up. Not only would that be a lot more freedom to move up and down that leaderboard, but it would also be, of course, those kills, which give you a point each, which is super, super handy for moving up. Of course, we know G3, once they have the high ground, it's very difficult to beat them. That is, if they're bringing their A game, which, I'm not too sure about coming off of this, but it's still a tough challenge nonetheless. So we'll just have a look and see. Are Outsiders up to that challenge? Are they going to take the gauntlet? Are they going to pick that up and challenge G3? Of course, now Citizens making their rotate as that blue zone starts to creep on up. Only 2 zones in, so it's not doing all that much damage, but still got to keep them on their toes. G3 putting the shots in. Outsiders going to be feeling the pain as the hits just absolutely fly in. Buden goes down, and Shecky is the next to fall as Flego getting that return fire in. The Outsiders in a little bit of a tough spot as G3 has decided to move on in and try and push up on this particular compound. In they come, Shroom trying to make it happen, very low on HP. Outsiders in a sticky situation. Hounds though still alive, keeping the dream alive for the Outsiders, but for how much longer is the question. The shots absolutely coming in. Citizens getting exploded by 4KT. Hound, he goes down, and he gets immediately thirsted as Fleko comes absolutely charging in. G3 not letting this one go at all. They are pushing in for the win, and they are about to cut out the hopes and dreams of the Outsiders right here, right now. This could be the end of them. This could be the dark abyss of relegation coming for them, as G3 is looking hungry for blood, hungry to find those kills. The Outsiders need to try and get out of here, because otherwise they're going to be saying goodbye.
Yeah, and of course, this is an absolutely crucial fight for the Outsiders. I mean, if they could get out of this one, I definitely, hope that they would try that, but it doesn't seem like it is something that's on the, any cards that are on the table at the moment. G3 has moved in. They've started to surround the Outsiders. Shaky Boy and, of course, Arissa caught in a bit of a difficult one. We got 6 guard just up on the far side there. We got the Mollies, of course, now starting to fly on in. Buden coming in with a little bit of a reposition, just moving up a little bit more over towards that western side, looking to push up a 6, of course, keeping that angle. Shaky Boy gets picked up in the process. So everything, of course, now riding on Arissa as Buden comes rushing in. Drop shot comes up, but of course, it is not enough as G3 picks up the Outsiders. They are the first team back into the lobby. They didn't get any kills in that match, so that does mean their points are fixed. So they do finish up on 93. So the next team up for a potential improvement, of course, being the players here from the Citizens. They now have the opportunity to still make a change to their overall points, their overall standings, and get up out of relegation zone. Of course, Young Thunder just up ahead of them as well on that point, on that leaderboard. So definitely going to be looking to these two teams to see what they'll be able to do in this last match.
Yeah, and I'm also curious to see if the Citizens have a plan in mind, because it looks like they're lagging behind in the blue zone, but it might just be on purpose to say, okay, let's let the guys fight out in the open. Let's let them kill each other, and we'll just stay and lag behind.
the blue zone strat is something we haven't seen for a little bit of time, and that's because it's not the easiest to pull off, and we always go back to how do you re-enter the zone, because once that gets, you know, heated, it becomes very, very difficult to make that happen. So we'll see if the Citizens can pull it off. For the time being, though, it looks like they might actually just get taken down by a Potato. He's just going to get hit. I mean, that's really not the way you want to be going out, so hopefully his team can be there to get some reses in, although I'm not sure if they have the meds to do it, because otherwise they would have probably popped it by now, so they might be in a little bit of trouble in the meantime. Speaking of trouble, G3 in a little bit of trouble as the shots come in. BBC also putting them into NFxUNIQUE. And it looks like Citizens just falling through the desert. Nothing to do there. The Young Thundercats, they're looking for the points. This is the other team that could potentially be relegated, and they're looking for the kills. They're looking for the points. In comes the thirst for Superior, so they are getting them in. They do not want to go down without a fight, and a fight is exactly what they're giving at the moment. As well, they're coming on up. NFxUNIQUE also trying to put in a fight towards G3, who finally, for the first time in a while, do not have the high ground here.
I mean, it's definitely going to be quite an interesting play. NFxUNIQUE holding their own here today, really stepping up with their performance. But of course, now Young Thunder looking to find any hits they can. As we can see, one of the players there from Citizens now getting picked up by the blue zone. Now, Priest goes down as well. Oh, the Citizens get eliminated back. They go into the lobby. That is the end of the road for them. Of course, we see some flying players up ahead. 4KT and Young Thunder now in the blue bottom, as you can see, Illusion, and of course his teammate just trying to hold on. Now let's see, will Adonis be able to make any of this play count? This is yet again where all the pressure now starts to mount on up as Illusion gets picked on over. Adonis and Superior, the two remaining players for Young Thunder. They have 1 point on the board. They need 4 more points to make it out of relegation. Will they be able to pick up the squad wipe as we got, oh, nice. The players here from 4KT starting to move up a little bit more, a little bit closer. Of course, now they're clearing it floor by floor as they're looking for that last remaining hopeful. One of the players from Young Thunders, we got Adonis, completely isolated from Superior. This is going to be an exceptionally tough one. And of course, Adonis gets taken out. Now, all the pressure is on Superior. He needs to now find 4 points somewhere. Be that from placement points, be that from kills. I don't know how, but he needs to try and do that. It is a lot of pressure on the shoulders here for Superior now, but of course, well, there is that possibility. We get quite a few players still just up ahead. The players there from Not Gaming, they are secure. They've, been able to bring in some really strong points here today. As you can see, of course, they're bringing in those kills once again in the kill feed. So things are definitely looking up for them. Superior, on the other hand, quite a bit of pressure. But now as we move up on towards Los Leones, you can see it is absolutely jam-packed with teams. We got the players here from Influence Rage. We've got Sincerity. We've got the team from Rain from Hell, as well as 4KT. This is going to be a pretty hairy fight across the board, especially in the city kind of setup we've got.
Yeah, it's going to be super, super tough for these teams. 4KT moving up in towards Sincerity, just on the side of Rain from Hell. We've also got Influence Rage off to the side here. And every single one of these teams is looking to put in the points, looking to put in the kills. We're in our top 10 teams at the moment. 4KT rolling on up the play zone, dealing with Flaco in the meantime. You can see the absolute cluster of teams up here towards the east. It's going to make things super, super tough. Jin going for a couple of shots, not going to find them though. Influence Rage finding the shots in towards Rain from Hell. Shylock going to be taking a bit of a nosedive there as things start to heat up all across the board and towards the perimeter. 4KT putting some shots in. We've got Rainbow Six taking the heat of that. Prime getting taken down by Andrew. Everyone is looking for the shots. Everyone is just up behind some cover, trying to squeak it out, trying to get out the wins here. 9 teams remaining as everyone is trying to fight for the lives, fight for the points. It's good to see that the teams still have that dub in mind. We'll see who's going to get it though. 9 teams remaining means that as the zone gets smaller and smaller, the stakes become higher and higher here for the teams to try and make this happen. The Young Thundercats still in this one. Superior managing to keep himself and the hopes and dreams of his team alive here. The longer that this guy stays alive, the better chances they have to be able to place outside of that relegation zone. The Young Thundercats, their hopes are riding on one man. At the moment, speaking of one man for luck, all by his lonesome, though, is going to be joined by Nahal, but is it in the nick of time? No, instantly taken down. The rest of the team does roll up, and now has to absolutely clap back. 4KT Aimer goes down as Lord puts the shots in. Aimless looking for them. Andrew doesn't go down just yet, though. A little bit of a tough one here for BBC, not finding what they're looking for. Lord will find Aimer. Andrew goes down. That's a little bit of what Fex is the last one left alive here. Has to either res his team or just get out of there. For the time being, though, some shots coming through from Umar is going to put BBC in a bit of a tough spot. They're going to have to get their res in as well. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that quick enough. Of course, 4KT also has the disadvantage in terms of numbers. If BBC get all their members up, it's still going to be a 2v4. We'll see if they can make it happen stuck in the same building here. 4KT with control of the top. Lord just keeping a watchful eye out, but the reses will indeed be able to come through at least. So they're going to be coming back with full strength here. Builds up Superior. He's going to keep himself and the dreams alive. Does get the shots. He takes quite a bit of damage. The first comes through. That's a bit of extra points. Instantly getting those through. He knows he does not have any chances to take. He's got to get that thirst, duck back behind cover, get that health back up. Every single kill, every single placement, every second he stays alive is a little bit more hope for this team to be able to make it out. Tough times all across the board, but Superior keeping those dreams alive. The rest of them, oh, Zeus, he's looking for the angle. He is absolutely hungry for this kill. He knows exactly where Superior is, but Superior, he has to be careful. He cannot make a mistake here. You can see the bullets just bouncing off the tree right ahead of him. If he peeks out, it may as well just be the final nail in the coffin. Not Gaming also turning their attention towards the other teams in the surrounding area. Absolutely tough fight with that zone moving down and towards the south. This could be anyone's game. Still 9 teams and 25 players remaining.
Yeah, this is such a tough one there for Young Thunder. I mean, Superior being able to secure the second point for them. So slowly but surely making progress with regards to the points. But of course, now that positional play is going to be absolutely essential if Superior wants to find those last few points. We know the points only start mattering from about 8th place, 7th place, round about there. That is where they only start bringing in the points worth really having. So it is going to be an exceptionally difficult one. It is going to be an exceptionally challenging one. Superior just needs to wait for 2 more teams to get taken out before he is then, of course, awarded that 7th place position, which is 2 additional points. So ideally, he would be looking to find himself in at least 6th place. But looking at the amount of chaos now just erupting on the screen, it could be something that is completely doable, as he just needs to wait a little while everyone else gets eliminated bit by bit. He just needs to stay safe long enough. As you can see, quite a fight breaking out now right there between the players from BBC, of course, the team there from Sincerity, as well as the players from Not Gaming. They're getting stuck, they're getting involved. 7 teams now remain. This is so close. 1 more team needs to fall before the players from Young Thunder can afford to die. Otherwise, all of this work was for nothing. So a lot of pressure now on Superior. This is the toughest strategic play he's ever had to bring in. That strategic delayed rotation that we talk about, Patchy, he's going to have to bring a lot of that in now if he wants to secure that 6th place. Just hope and pray that more teams get taken out. Anything above 6th place would be an amazing spot to be in. Of course, that would be then where we see the players from Young Thunder getting moved up in towards the safe zone. They are then out of relegation. But this is going to be an absolute tough one, as we do have that zone now closing on up. The blue zone about to pop all the way in. We'll see where the next phase is going to be taking us. The team here from Sincerity already sitting on 6 kills. Macho now looking to pick up a few more in the process there for the side of Not Gaming, as they too come rushing in, applying the pressure onto the side here of Sincerity. So really good showing coming in from the players of Not Gaming, but of course Sincerity also being able to hold their own, causing quite a bit of damage, picking up 1 kill in the process. Sneaks really getting sent back, but it is now up to Muffin, of course, respect. But the Immortalz come swooping in, ending it for the players, of course, from Rainbow Six. Now Superior can rest in peace. All right, now he'll be able to have enough points to get out of the danger zone. So whatever happens from here is just magic. But of course, we see the teams coming in still. We have Sincerity, we have the Immortalz, we have the players there, of course, from Not Gaming, all positioned over towards this eastern side. And the only team that is so far secured in the zone is the Immortalz in the compound. So I'm curious to see exactly how Sincerity and, of course, the players there from Not Gaming are going to try and play this Superior now. Just checking to see that the coast is clear before pushing up. He's got players from Influence range just in front of him. Rain from Hell also right there as they find their heads, sending them back into the lobby. So things are looking even better now for Superior as he starts moving on closer. The players there from Sincerity also now feeling the pressure. 5 teams remain on the map. Umar now looking to pick up a few more kills in the process. Will he be able to find it though? As you can see, Python puts one up in towards Zeus. Gets that knock going, of course. Here comes Jagger running straight into Superior. Come on, yes! Superior picks up the kill. Will he get the next one? Come on. Oh, beautifully done. 4 kills for Young Thunder. And of course, looking at the placement points, this is 10-point game for them. That is going to be enough already to move them out of relegation. But of course, still looking to see who's going to be the team to grab that chicken dinner. Sincerity now moves into the side of the Immortalz, sending them back into the lobby. Now it is, of course, Superior from Young Thunder. It is Macho from Not Gaming. Right up above him, we've got the players from Rain from Hell, and of course, right up ahead, we've got the team from Sincerity. All 4 teams looking to clutch that chicken dinner, and of course, a few teams, one of them being Sincerity, the other being the players there from Rain from Hell, still have the good numbers. So they definitely do have that advantage. And of course, as we've also seen in past, stragglers can really do quite a bit of harm to the teams up ahead of them. But I don't necessarily think that's what we're seeing here. Who knows? I might be wrong. They might surprise us with just an absolute big brain play coming in. But it is going to be an exceptionally difficult task, especially for the players here from Citizens, as they are now caught, not Citizens, Sincerity rather, as they are caught outside of that zone. They need to find a way back in. They're just on the edge of the blue. It is going to be pretty challenging.
Yeah, Superior's out here playing Splinter Cell, man. The guy's sneaking up, picking people off when they least expect it, getting in some covert ops up in here. Man has done the most for his team. Absolute legendary performance coming out of him. Just sneaking around, playing the waiting game, playing all sneaky, creeping up when the players are running around unaware of his position, getting those sneaky silence kills in. What a Chad move coming out from Superior. Now, of course, he's absolutely played that long game, and it's paid off. 4 teams remaining as the shots come in. Here comes Sincerity. They need to rotate, but Jin, he's stopping them from making that happen, trying to put the hits in, trying to keep them out, trying to put them down. He is trying to find those hits, but he has to be supported by the rest of the team. Sincerity making their way out, using the smoke as cover, looking for the return shots coming up. Muffin doesn't manage to hit them, but does push them off. Down he goes, Macho off in the side, absolutely throwing a spanner in the works there. And Superior coming out here once again, just playing that sneaky game from behind. The shots are coming through. Here he is. Superior has managed to get his team up into 2nd place. At this point, it doesn't even matter what's happened. This man right here has done exactly what he needed to do and so much more. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to do the bare minimum. I'm going to full send this one right to the last. He's tossing nades. He's doing the covert ops. He's doing the Splinter Cell. He's assassinating all the players from behind. It's a 1v2. It's Jin and Argus versus Superior, and Superior's going to go for it. I'm rooting for you, dude. You've got my support. If you win this, that's a trillion million infinity patchy points right there. Let's see. I want to see this happen. I'm voting for Superior. Hashtag Superior in the chat. Let's see what he can do. He's looking for the kills. He's dodging around. It's going to be Jin. It's going to be Argus. Are they going to wait it out? Are they going to spot him out? He has spotted the first one out. He's baiting the shot. Up he comes. Down he goes. Superior gets the shot. It's a 1v1. Can he make it happen? Reload comes through. The thirst comes in. This is the final countdown right here. He's going to be using that first aid kit, giving himself the best chance. It's going to be Argus versus Superior, but are they going to go for the gunfight is the question, or are they just going to try and play the long game? Argus in a difficult spot. The smoke is there, going to be dissipating. Superior just biding his time. Argus is the one who might just make this happen because he has to potentially jump out if the blue zone starts closing in, whereas Superior, he can just walk around. He can wait. He can wait for Argus to make that mistake. It's going to have to be a flying headshot or at least flying accurate shots coming out of Argus if he wants to make this happen. Superior is waiting for it. I think he may have seen it. Up comes that blue zone. He's got the cover. This might be the legendary game, but it's not. Superior does go down at the end. Finally, some shots from Argus gonna land true. 7 kills for him. Rain from Hell going to be taking that chicken dinner, but the young Thundercats have been spared relegation by the absolute god tier plays coming out from Superior. The sneaky game, the Splinter Cell, the assassination right up until the end. 5 kills for Superior alone, plus that second place. Sincerity, of course, coming in third with an absolute smasher of kills for them. But what a game, ladies and gentlemen, to end off the round.
Oh, I mean, that was beautifully played. I mean, well done to August for picking up 7 kills. I mean, but we gotta mention Superior here. I mean, that was just an absolutely insane play, finishing on 17 points for the team, right? Like that is well done. I just gotta give the applause once again. That was beautifully done. Yeah.
I do agree, and I do have to give a big shout out to young Thundercats. We had all but written them off, and they literally came through with some amazing positional play and the right amount of kills to give them the stats to stay in the running. Let's take a look at the leaderboard for the final game 6 of today. Patchy, talk us through this.
Yeah, well, obviously it's going to be Rain from Hell taking chicken dinner and, of course, getting a total of 22. Sincerity with that absolute smashing 10 kills and 10 placements, going to give them 20 for second place. The young Thundercats, of course, getting that second place plus the 5 kills, so they end up in third overall from that game. Not Gaming picking up that 4th place with 15 points. They've been definitely making sure they're distancing themselves from that relegation. Immortalz coming in 5th place with 9, G3 in 6th with 7. Influence Rage in 7 with 5, as well as BBC with 5 points in 8th place there. So, man, young Thundercats, what a story, what a comeback tale for them to get themselves out of relegation. It's going to be amazing to see the final end game leaderboard. But of course, the second page here, 4KT coming in 9. We've got Rainbow 6 in 10th place. If you're Euphoric Gods in 11, NFxUNIQUE in 12, Citizens in 13, Outsiders in 14, and Zero Tolerance Skills in 15th place. Of course, as I mentioned, it's going to be that final leaderboard that is really going to be the cream of the crop, the absolute cherry on top for the final, just ending off of this entire round. The group stages have been absolutely insane by every standard, by every metric. Here it is, from top to bottom. It is going to start with Gamers Unite Nations with 237 points in first place. G3 Temper in second place, also 237 points. Zero Tolerance Skills in third place with 230 points. Slime 4KT coming in 4th place with 198 points. We've got Undisputed AE in 5th with 176 points. In 6th place, we've got the Immortalz with 174 points. NFxUNIQUE following very closely in 7th place with 173 points. Sincerity Esports taking up 8th place with 166, and that is your first page for the group stage. Second page is going to be Lag Esports leading in 9th position with 158. We've got Aphelion Apex in 10 with 154. We've got Influence Rage Africa in 11th place with 143. Not Gaming coming in 12th position with 137. What an absolute comeback from them. Indeed, Rainbow Six Madagascar 13th place, 135 points. We've got the Drogons with 135 as well. In 14th place, we've got Black Clover in 15 with 133. And coming up on the bottom of the second page, it's Pain Africa in 16th place with 130 points. Moving on, of course, to the final page of the people who are going to make it into the next round. Coming out of the group stages, 17th place, it's the Comfy Cartel with 129 points. We've got Natural Killers coming in 127 points in 18th place. In 19th, we've got Fear with 124, as well as BBC in 20th with 124 points. We've got Rain from Hell in 21st position with 121, and the Euphoric Gods coming in 22 with 117. The Young Thundercats with the absolute comeback story of the group stages in 23 with 111 points. In 24, we've got Ultra 6 with 103, and that is the final team to make it up into that safe zone. The next few teams are going to be a little bit less impressed with the performance, because here are the teams that have not made it through. In 25, we've got Spaza 6. In 26, we've got the Outsiders Official. In 27, we've got the Citizens Gaming. In 28, we've got Nibble Esports. In 29, it's Toxic Esports. And coming in right at the back, it's 30th position, Plank Legion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. The group stages is over. These teams will be saying goodbye for the time being, but it's not over yet because the 24 teams will still be making up into the next round. And of course, it is undisputably superior, taking that MVP, taking the 5 kills. There's no doubt about it. This is the man with that MVP. Absolutely deserved, absolutely earned coming in that last match.
Yes, fantastic gameplay from Superior, taking Young Thundercats into the next phase of the Umzansi Esports League PUBG Mobile Tournament. This is season 3. I would just like to also mention that I want to give a big shout out to all the different countries that these teams are representing. We have teams from Mauritius, from Madagascar, from Somalia, Nigeria, and of course South Africa, and of course Mozambique in the next final. This is truly a Pan-African tournament representing the best of the best on the continent. DK, what do you have to say to the teams who have made it through to the next round?
Well done. I mean, it has rather been quite a challenging few rounds that the teams have gone through just to make it through the qualifiers. Of course, you know, a big clutch coming in right there on the end for Young Thunder. But I can tell you, moving into the next phase, things are going to get quite interesting. Of course, the teams going in have to prove themselves once again. Once again, we'll only see a select few teams moving through into the phase after next. So there's quite a bit of pressure still coming. So I'm quite excited to get into the next phase to see exactly what the teams will bring.
And Pachi, you know, obviously we've seen some play styles in this group stage. I've been told that play styles tend to switch up as the game goes along, as the rounds go along. Are we expecting some changes in the next round?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of the teams have maybe not shown their entire hand. I think some teams still have a lot to offer, especially the teams that are sitting down in towards the second and third pages. I think they have a lot more to offer in terms of what they can bring to the table. But we can only see, you know, moving on into the next round. Of course, I think also we have to watch out for teams like, for instance, Gun and G3, an absolutely stellar performance in the group stages. But I think they still have a challenge ahead of them. I think there are still going to be teams stepping up to bring the fight to them, because now is when it really starts to matter. Sure, some of these teams have been safe from the get-go, but that is going to stop moving into the next round. It's going to be even more difficult. Things are going to heat up that much more, and it's going to be absolutely insane.
Insane is what I can say, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to the teams who are relegated, who went out in this stage. You guys definitely brought it and gave us some exciting moments, but we look forward to seeing you next season, next time, with a better opportunity to compete in the Umzansi Esports League. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great night. I want to give a big thank you to Pachi and DK. They've done an amazing job in the first round, bringing you all the action. But it's not over yet. We will have more action coming next Friday. Stay tuned and make sure you follow Northern Gaming on all our social media channels. You don't want to miss any of the action in any of the upstates. This has been the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Northern Gaming. It's a PUBG Mobile Tournament. My name is Dr. Sid, and we say good night and see you next week.